The following is a Bearded Broadcaster Productions podcast. Everybody, welcome back to Breakfast Time with Waffle and Richard. Glad to be back after a short little break. And Waffle, it's great to be back. And also, it's Thanksgiving week, Waffle. Oh, my goodness. This episode's coming out a little bit earlier, a day early, so you don't have to miss the holidays for Thanksgiving. So, man, I'm so excited for Thanksgiving, Waffle. I'm so excited to just get in there and just eat.
Me too. I'm just ready for dressing. Dressing is just the tops for me. Like, if I could have nothing else, and I would be completely fine because I love dressing that much. I don't get it enough. Deviled eggs too. I'm just give me all the eggs, every single egg. I'll eat 13 of them and not feel bad. I don't care.
I'm looking forward to. My mom makes these mashed potatoes that are insanely good.
That's the only thing that we're not having that I'm kind of down on. But like I said, dressing, deviled eggs, we got both of those. I'm good to go.
Let's go. My dad informed me he bought, I believe, a 15-pound turkey. So
nice.
The turkey keeps increasing in size, I think, every year.
Yeah.
We're going to just have a 30-pound turkey one year, just this giant just slab of meat just sitting on the table. But I'm ready. I'm so ready. And of course, Thanksgiving is, of course, tradition of football. There's some NFL games on that Thursday. There's, of course, the Egg Bowl for college football on that Thursday. But before we look at those games, we'll look back at the week that was, and Waffle, our NFL teams laid an absolute egg. Those are the kind of eggs you don't like.
Right, absolutely. Yes. I don't want those eggs.
Especially not. We'll start. Both of these losses are bad, but we'll start with yours because it seems like probably the worst and most confusing. The Texans knock off the Titans in Nashville. A Texans team that has looked horrible, is not trying to win, and just coming to Nashville and get a win with Tyrod Taylor just turns back the clock and looks pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Let me preface this by saying this. Like, looking back on it now that it's digested and I've had time to, think about it. And I'm not trying to make up for this loss at all because there is no excuse for losing to Houston. But let me just say that it's entirely believable because of different factors. It's that, of course, we lost this game. One, because it's Tennessee. Yeah. That's literally how it's been. I've watched every Titans game for at least the past 4 years, like every single one of them, full 60 minutes. And that's at least that's the truest statement I think I might have ever said out of my mouth. Like, this is just how it happens. Like, you can look at past years where we just lay an egg against who knows, like the Bengals last year. Laid an absolute egg, played an awful game, but we had that game where, like we'll say, like we beat the Ravens last year in overtime in the regular season. Like, and then this year, like, we obviously lost to the Jets. Now we have lost to Houston, but I mean, that 5-game stretch that we just came off of. But here, Tennessee is so injured, and that's not a secret. It's been like that all year, and Tennessee's fought through it and obviously had a successful season so far. We're still at 8-3. But I think the injuries finally caught up to Tennessee more than they would like. Obviously, not having Derrick Henry, that's your best player on your team. Like, obviously that hurts. Julio Jones has been in and out. He's been out again. Then A.J. Brown goes down in the game Sunday. So now look at Tannehill's options. So now at wide receiver, you're relying on Nick Westbrook-Akina, who, has been fine, and I do like him, but he's not your wide receiver one. You have Dez Fitzpatrick, the fourth rounder that we selected this past year and then cut and then brought him back. You got Chester Rodgers, who we acquired in the offseason from the Colts, who has been, he's been there and he's been okay. But I mean, these are not guys. This is not who you want to have be your go-to guys.
Yeah.
And then also Marcus Johnson, who had a great game last week, 5 catches for 100 yards. And then he gets hurt. And so now he's gone. So Tennessee's injuries are definitely catching up to him. Not having Nate Davis again on the offensive line hurt, but the offensive line as a whole was just bad. Everything was just bad. But I'm going to throw you some stats out real quick before I dive into the game briefly. So Tennessee loses 22-13. I want you to listen to these two stats I got. First stat is the Tennessee Titans outgained the Houston Texans 420 yards to 190 and still lost and deserved to lose. And you know what that directly looks like? The Rams game. The Rams had a bunch of yards. Tennessee didn't have hardly any yards, and Tennessee was able to get the win. And do you know why? Turnovers. Tennessee turned it over 5 times. You can't do that. You cannot have 5 turnovers and expect to win 4 of them. Ryan Tannehill, interceptions, and then an absolutely blood pressure rising muffed punt. I would have liked to throw myself off the balcony at that point. With Chester Rodgers bounced off his foot, and I was just like, yep, that's it. That's Tennessee, baby. We love them Titans. Can't turn it over 5 times and expect to win. I think anybody knows that, no matter who you're playing. And the other one I have is this Titans defense, who, has been kind of the talk of the town, especially over this the last 6-game stretch we have. We won 6 in a row, and a lot of notoriety coming out of the defensive line with Jeffrey Simmons, Danico Autry, Harold Landry, Bud Dupree, who is also hurt. Guess what? This Titans defense held Houston to a total of 7 yards and 0 first downs on their last 6 possessions of the game. Houston had 13 points out of their 22 off of turnovers, and they only gained 1 total yard on those scores.
That's wild.
Without the 5 turnovers, we'd be focusing on another great defensive performance from the Titans. And that exact quote comes from Austin Stanley, who is a writer for the Titans, I think, at a radio station in Nashville, or a sports writer. But that it's ridiculous. Like, turnovers, just turnovers. This is not a game that Tennessee should have lost, but you know what? They lost it. And here's how it happened. Ryan Tannehill, 35 of 52 passes from Ryan Tannehill, 323 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. He got sacked twice. Running the ball for Tennessee, there were some good-looking runs here and there. Adrian Peterson had 9 carries for 40 yards. Dontrell Hilliard, another new face for the Titans, 7 carries, 35 yards. And Deontay Foreman, 7 carries, 25 yards. Jeremy McNichols, the guy who was Derrick Henry's backup, he's hurt as well. Jeez. So that's why Dontrell Hilliard played. And then Nick Westbrook-Aquino, 7 receptions, 107 yards. I mean, if you were forced to start him in your fantasy league, you're probably looking pretty good. A.J. Brown, 5 receptions, 48 yards. Dennis Fitzpatrick, the 4th-round guy who got cut, he caught the only touchdown. So, this was just not good. It was terrible. Yeah. Can't go without mentioning Tyrod Taylor, 14 of 24, no touchdowns, no picks, had 2 rushing touchdowns. Houston didn't really run the ball well. I really don't think that Houston's offense did a whole lot of things well, except Tyrod Taylor, dinked and dimed his way down the field in the first half a couple times. And, that was all it took. And then when they capitalized on the turnovers, and that's all you can ask for if you're a Houston fan.
I mean, your leading rusher for them was Rex Burkhead, who had 18 carries for 40 yards. That's 2 yards a carry. So yeah. And Chris Conley, leading receiver, had 37 yards. So they didn't really do a whole lot. But when you give them short field position,
correct,
they can pay.
And then just to go play by play quickly, Titans get the ball first. They punted after going 38 yards. So okay, whatever. Houston goes 14 plays, 62 yards in 7 minutes. They eat up. They dink and dime their way down the field. And then the Titans defense bows up, stops them for a field goal, 3-0 Houston. Tennessee goes on a 9-play, 62-yard drive in 4 minutes. Things are starting to click. This is when I'm thinking, okay, maybe we'll settle in here. Maybe we'll figure it out. And Ryan throws a terrible interception that gets returned all the way to the 5-yard line. So Houston sets up with a short field, and the Tennessee defense bails them out. Houston goes 4 plays, gains 0 yards, kicks a field goal. It's 6-0. That's a win. Titans come out 3 and out, punt. Houston 9 plays, 76 yards, touchdown. They miss the extra points, 12-0. They are still keeping you in this game. As bad as Tennessee's offense has played,
right,
they are still keeping you in this game because of Houston mistakes and this defense stopping them for that field goal. Tennessee starts to put a few things together, goes all the way down there, 7 plays, 36 yards, gets in pretty good field position. Goes forward on 4th and 1. I think it's the correct call. I think you have to. But I think the play call, stupid, just unfortunate. Gets blown up in the backfield on a little handoff. Tennessee turns it over on downs. Then Houston goes 3 and out. Titans get the ball back with not a lot of time left in the first half. Go 10 plays, 59 yards, and we're in field goal range. And how does the first half end? Ryan Tannehill gets called for oh my God, what is the word?
Oh, intentional grounding?
Yeah, intentional grounding. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with me? Intentional grounding inside of 10 seconds or whatever it was. And that's a 10-second runoff, and we end the half, and it's 12-0. And boy, let me tell you, I was hot. I was fuming, not happy. The bag of because my superstition, I DoorDash because we go to church on Sundays, and it gets out at like 12:30. So I mean, I'm not trying to stop somewhere because I'm going to miss the beginning of the Titans game. So I always DoorDash something, and I had DoorDash like fats, like I was eating like a king. I was at fats at the beginning of the year, and then we lost to the Jets, and I was like, get out. Can't do that anymore. And then I started I went from kind of top of the line to, I went to McDonald's. And for the 6-game win streak, I ate nothing but McDonald's on Sundays for lunch. And me growing up in the South, where all my life after church, we ate these fantastic home-cooked meals every Sunday. Now look at me, I'm 25 years old, and I'm eating McDonald's for lunch, watching the Tennessee Titans win football games. I mean, who wouldn't want that life? So I ate McDonald's, and I had the DoorDash bag, and I mean, I kicked my foot right through it and smacked it across the room. At least it wasn't a remote. Anyway, Houston comes out, punts, 13 plays, 40 yards. Titans get them to punt. And what do? Oh, you thought I was fuming already. Chester Rodgers is going to field this at the 5-yard line, which is fine. He's doing the fake him out. He's setting up to catch it at the 5. And then at the last second, he's like, nope. And he turns and he tries to block the guy from the Texans. And that ball just hits him right in the leg. Right in the leg. Like, did you not know it was going to go there? And it was raining. It was sloppy.
Yeah.
It was bad. So, I mean, whatever. Still no excuse. Hits him in the leg. Texans recover. Then they go 5 yards and get a freaking touchdown. And it's 19-0. Titans answer 13 plays, 78 yards. They score a touchdown. What do? We miss the extra point. Oh, great. Now the kicking woes are back. We can't have anything. Texans, here starts the Texans' last possessions where they were so bad.
Yeah.
3 plays, 5 yards. Texans get it again. 3 plays, punt. Titans get it. 5 plays, go for it on 4th down. Once again, the right call. Do we get it? No. Texans get it. 3 plays, punt. Titans get it. 7 plays, interception. Texans get it. 3 plays, punt. Titans get it. 6 plays, touchdown. Okay. It's 19-13. I think for whatever reason, I'm going to vividly remember this moment for the rest of my life. And it has no significance now because nothing happened. But, sorry. Tennessee scores touchdowns 19-13. What do the Texans do? 3 plays, 9 yards, punt. Hey, we're right freaking here. And I am up. I'm walking around my living room. At this point, I'm pacing because I'm starting to feel it. I'm like, we can do this. We look good on our last drive. Like, we just got to capitalize. We got to do this. I'm like pacing around the coffee table. And I'm just like, I said to myself, I said, Ryan Tannehill. I don't know if I thought he could hear me, but Ryan Tannehill, I believe in you. Me, irrelevant, just over here in Greenwood, South Carolina. But I believe in you. If nobody else does, I believe in you. And I had like my own little mini pep up moment for Ryan Tannehill in my living room. And I was just like, I believe in you. People crap on you. They've never said anything good about you for 2.5 years. And you've been fantastic for this team. You're one of the best quarterbacks Tennessee has ever had. And I'm just like, I believe in you. And he comes out and throws an interception. And then Houston gets the ball, and they end up getting a field goal after a pretty good interception return. It's 22-13. Tennessee comes out, not much hope left. There's like 2.5 minutes left. Ryan Tannehill throws an interception, and then the Texans punt, and that's it. Yeah. And Tennessee loses. And so the only other thing I'm going to say about this game is that the season's not over. We're 8-3.
Still first in the division, conference.
Still first in the conference, first in the division. This is a bad loss. But once again, I'm gonna say it's Tennessee. I feel like if you're a Tennessee fan, like you knew this was going to come at some point. And was Tennessee going to win the rest of their games and go 15-2? I mean, obviously, I'd like for that to happen, but no, that was not going to happen. Now, the quintessential Tennessee Titan thing to do is, who are we playing this week? We are playing the Tennessee Titans, the hottest team in the NFL. Now we're playing the hottest team in the NFL, the New England Patriots, and we're playing them on the road. And the Titan thing to do is to come out and have an absolute dominant performance and go into the bye week 9-3. Will that happen? I don't know. We'll talk about it later, but the season's not over. The injuries are catching up to Tennessee. The bye week is another week away. If we can survive New England next week, I mean, I think we're going to be fine. Either way, in the long run, the schedule's still easy. Yesterday, look at Ryan Tannehill's weapons. I don't know what quarterback you could put back there and have a great day unless it might be like Aaron Rodgers or maybe Patrick Mahomes a year or two ago.
Or Tom Brady, who's done that his entire career.
Correct. Yeah, like I just don't know what you expect out of him on a day where it rained the whole game. It was sloppy. It was nasty. Everybody's injured. No excuse for the loss. We still lost. I get that, but I don't think it means anything for Tennessee. That they're going to be all right. I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's pretty much that. And now we're going to move on to you, Richard. It is your turn to get some things off your chest. Oh, yeah. So we have the Buffalo Bills hosting the Indianapolis Colts. And this one was ugly. I don't really know any other way to put it.
Yeah.
The final score was Indianapolis 41, Buffalo 15. Richard, take it away.
The only good thing about this game is that's scoregami, the unique NFL score. So glad to be a part of history, I guess. Question mark.
True.
Yeah, no. Also, I tell you every week on this show that you gotta get the rushing game going if you're the Bills. They only ran the ball 13 times.
Yeah.
Matt Breida was the leading rusher.
Yep.
Now, Devin Singletary's been banged up. Zach Moss has been banged up. I get that, but you're only going to rush them a combined 6 times. And they only had 91 yards rushing. Matt Breida had a 28-yard run. That was the best play they had all day. Josh Allen, 21-35, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 picks, and was sacked once. You had to throw in Mitchell Trubisky out there for a pick, too. They just look bad. Again, the Colts have a good defense. Like, the Colts have one of the best defenses in the NFL, I'm convinced. I mean, when you have Darius Leonard back there, you're going to be very good.
Yeah.
And DeForest Buckner, of course, in there. All those guys that get pass rushes at them. They pressured the Bills. The Bills' offensive line's been banged up. That's why they struggled against the Jags in that loss. But, man, you really wanted, after that beat down of the Jets, you really wanted to come out and continue to build some momentum and be like, okay, Jags loss was a fluke. We're going to come out here. We beat the Jets. Start getting on a roll again. And now you're 6-4. You're not even first in the division anymore because the most red-hot team in the league is the New England Patriots now. Yeah. They're starting to find a groove, and they got to play them twice in the next couple of weeks. But, this is a bad loss. The offensive line is still banged up, and you got to get that right. They tried bringing in some people in this week, and that just haven't worked out. You got to get some guys. I think there's some guys that are getting off the COVID or injured list. I think there's some COVID issues was the main reason. I think there's some guys getting off that list this week that should hopefully help. But, man, you got to get the offensive line back. You got to be able to run the ball for this team. Josh Allen's got to be able to run it because there were times when he would just drop back and just be instant pressure in his face. And we saw it when we watched them play the Titans. That's how it was. They saw it against the Jags, and you saw it in here. That's 3 of their 4 losses where you couldn't get a run game going. Even the Steelers lost. They couldn't get a run game going. So, and then, of course, Carson Wentz didn't do a whole lot, 11-20, 106 and a touchdown. But, man, Jonathan Taylor, we got to start talking about him for MVP because 32 carries, 185 yards, and 4 touchdowns. This dude's unreal.
Hold on. This is obviously a hot button.
Mm-hmm.
And he is great. He is fantastic. He has shown this year that he can carry the load. He is 100% running back one, and he's one of the better running backs in the league. But I know I'm just going to get passed off as the salty Tennessee Titans fan because of Derrick Henry. I want to see more before I start crowning him MVP because but I feel like this is the year to do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And obviously we know Derrick Henry was on pace and was getting those talks before he got hurt.
Yeah.
So this is the year for a running back to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I'm still pissed off that Derrick's hurt, but just I want to see more. I want to see 2 or 3 more weeks of the same stuff from Jonathan Taylor, just to keep it going because like I said, this is the year. There's not really one quarterback that's really just wowing everybody because, this is pretty much a quarterback award, and it has been for years, unless you're going to go with somebody like, I don't know, like Justin Herbert. But, I mean, like I said, nobody's really like just jumping out at you and like, oh, my God, yeah, that's the MVP. Yeah. So this is the year for a running back to do it. I think Jonathan Taylor can do it, and should he deserve consideration for it right now? Yes, he's having an amazing tear. He had a great day. But me personally, I want to see some more.
The other good thing about this, Dawson Knox got involved in the passing game. He was the leading receiver, 6 catches for 80 yards. Stephon Diggs only had 4 catches for 23 yards, but 2 touchdowns. So he got open when he could.
Yeah,
man, they just couldn't really get him involved too much. But good to see Dawson Knox back out there. It's a lot to work on. You're 6-4. You're right on the edge. They're number 7 right now. Are the Bills?
Yeah,
in the playoffs. And I mean, again, you got 7 weeks left. You got plenty of time to make up that ground. But again, you got to play the Patriots twice during that span. Yeah. And now you have a short week because the Bills play on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And so just gotta be ready. And then you got to play the Bucks too during that stretch. Yep. That's 4 big time games down the end of the stretch.
Yep.
That you need to win at least half of them, I think. And the Bills are a team that could win 2 of them. They could win all 4 of them, I think. Yeah. They could lose 3 of them easily.
Yeah.
And so this is a team, I don't know what you're going to get this week. I hopefully, maybe we get the fired up Josh Allen that's ready to go after the Jags loss, and they come rolling out and just steamroll the Saints on Thursday night. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens there. Hopefully the offensive line can get ready, get set, get back. It's a good win for the Colts, keep them alive in the playoff race for sure.
Yeah, for sure, especially with Tennessee losing.
But it just hurts, and it also hurts, of course, to see the Patriots leapfrog you now after you thought, they're done. Now the Patriots, guess what? They found another quarterback, and they're looking pretty good right now. And they're doing it with people who don't exist. These are not real people.
Yep. Factory-made players. Buffalo just not an ideal week, not an ideal past couple weeks. Well, last week was good, but the Jags game and everything. But Carson Wentz didn't have to do much. 11 of 20, 106. He didn't have to do much because Jonathan Taylor had 5 touchdowns. I mean, you shouldn't have to do much when your running back gets 5 touchdowns. Exactly. And Taylor had 185 yards on the ground as well. He is taking sole possession of first place as far as the rushing leader goes.
Yeah.
And like I said, just to emphasize more about him too, fantastic. He's having an unreal season, and if he keeps it up, I do believe he will probably win MVP. I just need to see more, but I'm just upset. All right, so speaking of the hottest team in the NFL, let's talk about the Patriots because they played on Thursday night against the lowly Falcons. I mean,
this game was garbage.
Yes, it was.
It was absolute garbage. I don't know why I kept watching this game. I think my morbid curiosity was like, what are the Falcons going to do now? And oh boy.
It wasn't pretty. I'm going to tell you that. This was a rematch of 28-3. And
we should have 2 more field goals, man.
What was the difference in 28-3, 25? And that's how much the Patriots won by.
If both teams would have kicked just 2 garbage time field goals, man, perfect. Put a bow on it. Walk away, greatest Thursday night football game of all time.
I think every Falcons fan might have just collectively broke their TVs all at the same time if that would have happened. It would have been horrid.
Oh man, they are upset in Atlanta, and again, I'm missing the Atlanta sports radio, but that crowd was horrible too. If y'all didn't see that, They are very upset in Atlanta. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen during Arthur Smith's first year.
Mm-hmm. Mac Jones, 22 of 26, 207 yards and a touchdown. He's looking like he's going to turn into the next Belichick henchman quarterback that looks like he's going to be around to win games.
Man, again, he was great in college, and we can all say that. A lot of people thought he was too small for like the NFL and stuff. He's the best rookie quarterback so far out of this class.
Oh, 100%.
Most consistent, best, and it's kind of wild, when you think of now. Trevor Lawrence has got other issues going on where he's at. Justin Fields has got other issues going on where he's at. He's banged up. But man, it's kind of surprising. I think that nobody really kind of thought Mac Jones would be the guy out of that freshman, out of that rookie class his first year.
Yeah, I think it's weird to look back and like you look at the really good quarterbacks, like high draft picks over the past like decade, and ones that stick out to you are like obviously like Andrew Luck. Like he came in to a team who was very bad, but it was also a team that had consistently won for years.
Yeah.
So coming into a situation like that, I feel like is a lot easier than somebody like Trevor Lawrence going to the Jaguars, who really don't have a direction and don't have history.
Yeah.
Other than being pretty dang good in the late 90s, they don't really have a whole lot going for them. And then things like you can look at Mariota for Tennessee, like coming into a team that doesn't have a whole lot of history. The one Super Bowl appearance that Tennessee had, and no direction, different coordinators every year. He couldn't survive. He couldn't keep up, and he also got hurt and blah blah blah. So and I feel like that's the problem with all the quarterbacks who are rookies, except for Mac Jones. Because what have the Patriots done for 2 decades? Win. Now, they didn't win last year, but now they got their guy, and obviously he's going to a coach who knows what he's doing and is going to be there for as long as New England will have him. And then you got people like Trevor Lawrence going to the Jags, which who knows what they're doing. The Jets have been god-awful for close to a decade now.
Matt Nagy doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, the Bears are just a cluster of terrible.
So, yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with it. But speaking of Matt Nagy, the Ravens took down the Bears in a stupidly entertaining game, but a game that the Bears should not have won. Absolutely. I mean, should have won. Sorry. Yeah. The Ravens shouldn't have won this game, but the Bears are stupid. So the Ravens won it. And the Ravens were down. They had to start Huntley instead of Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson was sick. Is that right?
Yeah, sick. It was a non-COVID sickness. They said he feels fine now, so he should start this week. But
boy got diarrhea again. Yeah, Tyler Huntley, 26 of 36, 219, had one pick, got sacked 6 times.
Oh, this is without Khalil Mack too, which is
Mark Andrews had 8 receptions for 73 yards. Rashad Bateman, their first rounder from last year, 3 receptions for 29 yards. I got a random stat for you, and I'm mostly just throwing this out because I hate the Ravens. Des Fitzpatrick called a touchdown before Rashad Bateman did, and I love every second of it, considering that Des Fitzpatrick got cut by the Titans after being drafted by him. So
that's funny.
And how about a little redemption story, kind of, sort of, not really. Justin Fields goes 4 of 11, 79 yards, gets banged up. In steps who? The Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. And what does he do? Throw an absolute dime that should have won this game. Freaking Andy Dalton could have saved. I don't know if he saved the season. He could have saved the season for the Bears. And he did.
4-6 looks a lot better than 3-7.
And he did, but the defense let him down. The Bears can't get out of their own way, whether it's Nagy, whether it's the defense, whether it's the ineptitude on offense. The Bears can't get out of their own way. But Andy Dalton redemption story got thwarted by Tyler Huntley, and I hate to say that. Lions, Browns, Detroit. So close yet again.
They allowed nothing in the second half. They did great in the second half. And DeAndre Swift, great game. 14 carries, 136 yards, and a touchdown.
To quote 5 Points Vids, who, if you don't watch this stuff on YouTube, you need to. and follow him on Twitter. To quote 5 Points Vids, he has been saying this every single week when the Lions lose and or tie. The Lions are the best 0-9-1 team in NFL history. And that is a fact.
They are. God, I hurt. I hurt for them. And they're going to be on national TV this week because they get the Thanksgiving game. And I'm ready for something stupid to end that game.
Is that not just going to be just the worst game of all time?
Oh, absolutely.
Who are they? They're playing the Bears. They're playing the Bears.
Oh my gosh!
And that is how we start Thanksgiving. That is the first game.
What if that's the only game they win?
I'm all for it.
1-15-1 with the winner.
I'm all for it. No, what would be even better is the Lions to dominate this game and Andy Dalton come in the fourth quarter and win this game.
It's like 28-0 at halftime, and the Bears come back and win 31-28, and Andy Dalton has 3 touchdown passes.
Oh, man. Browns getting a win that they needed to kind of stay afloat, or let's say keep pace in the AFC North. They're 6-5 now. Baker Mayfield, solid day, 15-29, 176 yards and a touchdown. Leading receiver was Austin Hooper. I guess he does exist still.
Yeah.
4 receptions, 53 yards. There's not a whole lot from this game. It was just
in that divorce between Odell Beckham, Baker Mayfield, and the Browns. Yeah, nobody has won so far. All the players kind of okay.
Yeah,
since that's happened. So
yeah,
just throw that out
there. Candidate for regular season game of the year, Packers Vikings. This was a wildly entertaining game.
It's great.
And I've said this all year. I feel like the Vikings. We say this about a lot of teams. I look at the Chargers last year where they lost all those games by 1 possession.
Mm-hmm.
That is the Vikings.
Oh, absolutely.
That is the Vikings. The Vikings are this close to having a better record than the Packers, like literally right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Vikings have had so many games where they have been in it and they're like the Bears. They can't get out of their own way. Whether it's kicking woes or whether it's just making up new and exciting ways to lose every week. But the Vikings, they did it. They took the Packers down. I guess a small asterisk because technically not full strength Packers because Aaron Jones, who, let me just put this out there, he's on my fantasy team. He ain't been doing nothing anyway. He was on the bench, but Vikings get to win 34-31. Dalvin Cook, pretty good day, 86 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson torching this Packers defense, 8 receptions, 169 yards and 2 touchdowns for Jay Jetta. And Kirk Cousins, the most overpaid but kind of good quarterback I've ever seen in my life. 24-35, 341 yards, 3 touchdowns. A fantastic day for Kirk Cousins. And then on the other side of the ball, Aaron Rodgers matching him stride for stride. 23 of 33, 385, 4 touchdowns. Only got sacked twice. A.J. Dillon ran it for 53 yards. They didn't run the ball worth crap. But Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 4 receptions, 123 yards and a touchdown. Devontae Adams had 2 touchdowns. Still making his case as best receiver in the NFL. This was just back and forth. Minnesota almost blew it.
Yeah.
They did almost blow it, and I fully expected them to blow it when Aaron Rodgers hit Valdez-Scantling for a game-tying 60-something yard touchdown. But the Vikings did it, and they kicked the field goal to win. Even better. Field goal. Even better. Who'd have thought?
Looking at the Vikings of their 10 games they played, 9 of them have been one-possession games. They won 30-17 over the Seahawks, and other than that, their largest win is by 7 points over the Chargers, 27-20.
Every game's a roller coaster.
And I believe I saw a stat where 8 of their 10 games have come down to basically the final drive.
Yeah,
our final possession. I think that Cowboys game they scored a garbage touchdown to make it look close.
Panthers game was like that. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. One of those games. There's one game in there where somebody scored a garbage touchdown, but it was still one possession, so that was still a slight possibility something could go wrong.
I think that Cardinals game, they were right there, and they missed a field goal that would have won the game.
Yep. And then of course the Lions game, the Lions looking like they're going to get the win, and Adam Thielen wakes up and gets 2 catches, and they win the game on a field goal. So. Yep. By the way, I had Aaron Rodgers on my bench in fantasy because I was like, Josh Allen's looked great last week. He's going to look great again today. Nope.
Yikes.
And I had another good quarterback on my bench too, and Taylor Heineke, who also had a pretty good day too. So I'm not happy.
You've been on the wrong end of some of these decisions, Richard.
I have. Again, I was playing a guy in our league that's undefeated. I don't know how he's undefeated. Oh, he's undefeated because he has Cooper Kupp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, the Rams are off this week. I have a chance, and I did not have a chance.
The Dolphins and the Jets. What a awful.
Who cares?
Who?
Joe Flacco started at quarterback.
Yeah. How many field goals were missed in this game? I think it's like 3 or 4. It's not good. Because I feel like in between watching the Titans, every time I looked over at Scott Hansen on Red Zone, it was like, oh, there's another missed field goal in the Dolphins Jets game. And I'm just like, oh, great.
They made Scott Hansen call this. Why? Don't do that to that man. We love this man. Y'all are making him call some of these garbage games too, because you have to call every touchdown.
Yeah. Well, both teams ended the half by both missing field goals in the first half. So Jets missed another one. That was it. So just 3 total, but it seemed like a lot more.
That's still 3 too many, I feel like.
Yeah, correct. But anyway, we haven't even talked about this. The Dolphins won 24-17 over the New York Jets.
It's bad. So I had to work on Sunday. I didn't get to see a whole lot of the 1:00 games. And I got home and I was watching the Chiefs Cowboys, and I was watching at halftime to kind of catch up. I think I laughed out loud when I saw the score of this game.
Yeah, it was just bad, dude.
I was like, oh.
Joe Flacco starting for the Jets. I mean, turning back the clock. My MVP, 24-39, 291, 2 touchdowns for him. He did find Elijah Moore a lot, which is cool. 8 receptions, 141 yards and a touchdown for him. Myles Gaskin actually ran the ball for more than 50 yards. He had 89 yards rushing. That's really good. But he was not wide receiver 1, which kind of sucks for my fantasy team. He was 3 catches for 7 yards. Did have that receiving touchdown, though. Yeah. And Tua Tagovailoa, 273 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, only incompleted 6 passes, one of those being a pick. Jets did lose Michael Carter. He's going to be out for a couple weeks, is what they've said. So there goes any kind of rushing attack they thought they had. And the Dolphins, winners of 3 straight. Huh?
Yeah, that's been a quiet
with the win over the Texans, who obviously not good.
Yeah.
And they beat the Ravens in that Thursday night game that just made you like, huh, what? And then they took down the Jets, and now they play the Panthers. Is Cam Newton the next victim? Are the Dolphins going to get hot and go 10-7? Are they going to sneak into the playoffs?
I mean, the back half of their schedule, the toughest games are their last 3 games are at the Saints, at the Titans, and the Patriots.
Oh, they'll beat Tennessee, 100%. 100% Tennessee loses that game.
By that point, the Patriots could just bench everybody if they're looking pretty good at the playoffs. So, it's like, I mean, Panthers are going to be tough, of course. The Panthers look a lot better with Cam, but it's like Giants, Jets, Saints. Yeah. Saints have been kind of weird. But it's like, if they keep going, they could be good. By the way, this is a one stat. I need to know what happened here. Christian Wilkins is a defensive lineman, of course, from Clemson, plays for the Dolphins. He's done fairly good down in Miami. They put him in on some trick plays. I don't know if he was in on a trick play, but he has 1 fumble, and he also has a fumble recovery. I didn't know what happened there. If that was all in one play, or if he just he recovered one, and then he fumbled he had another recovered one that he fumbled.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, he didn't lose it, and then he didn't lose it. So maybe he picked up one, fumbled it, and recovered it again.
Okay.
Or maybe Javon Holland, who has a fumble recovery too, picked it up. That's a weird stat line. I was just wondering. I don't know if they ran a trick play with him and fumbled it or what, but
yeah,
who knows?
Who knows? Dolphins winners of 3 straight, beating the lowly Jets, led by Joe Flacco. That's kind of all the headline you needed. Saints, Eagles. This game was weird, and once again, I'm going to ask the question: are the Eagles good? I have no idea. They are.
The Saints are good because Trevor Siemian didn't look bad.
The Saints are weird because they score so many fourth quarter points. Look at this. This is another example. They scored 22 points in the fourth quarter. They were getting pounded. In this game. It was not close, and it's not as close as the score says it is. But they have scored the most points in the fourth quarter of any team this season, and it's because of crap like this when they're getting obliterated. But yeah, the Eagles, my God, have a day, man. 40 points on the board against the Saints defense, who is good. Jalen Hurts, 13-24, 147 yards, no touchdowns, no picks through the air. He ran for 69 yards and had 3 rushing touchdowns.
That's wild. I mean,
I'm going to go ahead.
I don't know if he's the guy, but he's had some weeks where he has looked phenomenal. He's had some weeks where he's looked horrible. So I don't know what the Eagles are. I don't know what Jalen Hurts is, but if it's
I don't know
it's working.
And once again, another player that I think I've talked about once or twice on here, Jordan Howard. He still exists. Did you know that? Because he plays for the Eagles.
I did not.
He had 63 rushing yards, so good for him.
Okay.
And Trevor Siemian, 22 of 40, 214 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Kind of all those touchdowns, pretty much garbage time touchdowns. So I don't know. Saints are weird. Eagles are weird. This game was weird. And what not close, 40-29. And now we move to Charlotte, where the Panthers hosted the Washington football team a week after completely shutting me up. And I'll say this because Sherelle and my mother, they listen to this podcast. Mm-hmm. They at least listen to me talk about the Cowboys, the Panthers, and whatever. And I'm going to go on record and say that, yes, before the Panthers played the Cardinals, when we did the preview, I said, don't watch this game. I said, read a book.
Yeah.
Because the Cardinals were going to murder them. And that absolutely did not happen. So I'm stuck with my foot in my mouth over here. So the Panthers looked really good last week. Not so great this week.
This week, I think, was fine. The last play, I need to talk about. It's 4th and 3. Mm-hmm. You're down 6. You're at 49. There's 1 minute and 11 seconds left. I don't know what the timeout situation was. I didn't get to see a whole lot of this game either.
Yeah.
I get what you're trying. You probably need to throw it.
Yeah.
But man, you got Christian McCaffrey back there.
Yeah.
I feel like if it's 3 yards or less, you gotta give it to McCaffrey, or at least on a pitch out.
Yeah. Now I'm pretty sure they did not have any timeouts. So
okay. Now it makes a little more sense, but man, it's just it's one of those that's like,
yeah,
it's frustrating when you see a really good running back and like, oh, it's less than 4 yards. Let's try to give it. You don't try to give it to him, but I get it.
Screw handing it to McCaffrey. Look at who's your quarterback. I mean,
you have some Cam Newton who can go forward.
Yeah, you could have done that.
Some kind of read option, maybe at least, or an RPO. I think they just dropped back and threw it, and so or tried to throw it and then got sacked. So
I think the reunion of Cam and the Panthers is good for Charlotte, and obviously it makes a lot of people happy. And I think it's definitely a better option than what we saw out of Sam Darnold this year. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll work out at least a little bit for the Panthers. Now, is it going to be enough to get them into the playoffs? I really don't think so. But then again, the Saints just lost. The Bucs have been on a losing streak.
The Falcons are not great.
The Falcons are the Falcons, and
the NFC's really top heavy.
The NFC is weird.
Like the NFC's got Bucks, Rams, who have looked bad, Packers,
Cardinals,
but after that, it's kind of like it's kind of a lot of teams kind of fighting each other.
You got a Vikings team that could win every game.
That's true, man. You could Philadelphia if they decide to get on it.
Philadelphia's right there, but yeah. Anyway, Washington, Taylor Heineke was 16 of 22, 206 yards, had 3 touchdowns.
Also on my bench.
Gibson ran for 95 yards. Did not have any touchdowns. Terry McLaurin on my fantasy team, 5 receptions, 103 yards and a touchdown. Thank you, Scary Terry. Adam Humphries, hey man, how you doing, man? 2 receptions, 30 yards.
Dorman
good for you, buddy. You Dorman boy. That's pretty much it. McCaffrey had a good day. He had 119 total yards, had a receiving touchdown, 7 receptions as well. A solid day for him. Cam had 189 yards on his bad shoulder and threw 2 touchdowns, got sacked only once. So this is a pretty competitive game. It was a good game. So, but Panthers come up short.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's next? My computer is really killing me, Richard. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. Okie dokie. Here we go. All right. Next, 49ers, Jaguars. I don't really have a lot to say about this one. This was just a blasting. Jaguars got murdered at home by the 49ers who
we got to talk about the drive.
Are good, are bad? Okay, drive me.
They're the San Francisco 49ers early in this game.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first drive of the game.
Mm-hmm.
20 plays,
Yeah.
87 yards, 13 minutes and 5 seconds off the clock. How did this drive end, Waffle?
This drive ended in a field goal.
This is the most Big Ten drive I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Jacksonville just went out there and basically wasted everyone's time for 13 minutes to kick a field goal. If that would have been the only points they would have scored, great. But these are the Jags who are horrible. And the Jags went out there, punted after 3 plays, a touchdown, then fumbled it after 1 play and another touchdown. This game was over.
Yeah, this is another thing to talk about. So the 49ers, obviously, they went on that 13-minute drive in 20 plays, which, God, that's crazy. Jaguars come out, run 3 plays, have the ball for 1:35. San Francisco gets it back, runs 7 plays, has the ball for 4 minutes. And then Jacksonville has the ball for 8 seconds and gives it right back. And then in the blink of an eye, it is 17-0. And Jacksonville is running their 5th play of the game.
And they've had the ball for 1 minute and 43 seconds.
And there's 8 minutes left in the second quarter. And this is their 5th play.
And they're down 17-0. That's not good.
And they lead a 12-play, 67-yard drive. Impressive field goal.
Urban Meyer going back to his Big Ten roots, baby.
Yeah, it's bad. It's not it, Chief. Jacksonville, I hate you. I have no sympathy for you, but this is bad.
I had Red Zone on for a little bit on Sunday, and when I looked up and saw this was the 18th play of the drive for San Francisco, I stopped everything I was doing. I'm like, I gotta see how this ends. And I really hope it was for a field goal, and it did, and I was very happy. And I was like, this game can end 3-0.
Yeah. Here's a very random stat for you. Who was San Francisco's leading rusher?
I just looked it up.
Deebo Samuel.
All right, then. Good for him, man.
And he had 1 reception for 15 yards and 2 targets, and he played pretty much running back. 8 carries, 79 yards of the touchdown. That just kind of blows my mind. Like, what Kyle Shanahan, like, what is he – what's happening
guys are
here?
Weird, man. They are a weird team. I know
they're hurt. They're hurt in that area, but okay. I mean, heck, they scored 30 points. I mean, they beat the Jags by 20 on the road. Like, I mean, if it works, it works, I guess.
Yeah.
And obviously Debo's having a very good year, receiving wise, and you just kind of throw that by the wayside and like, hey man, we need you to run the football. So screw it. I mean, if it works, it works.
I
know. Trevor Lawrence, just another meh day, 16-25, 158 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, got sacked 3 times. They ran the ball for 54 yards because they're awful. And that's Jacksonville sucks so bad. Tennessee, but Tennessee still has to play them. Just wait. They'll look great that day.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be like against the Bills. Y'all gonna see another 6-9 game.
Trevor Lawrence gonna have his welcome to the NFL party, and he throws for 6 touchdowns. They're gonna have him. Oh, we should talk about him for MVP. All right, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, yeah. Anyway, Jacksonville sucks. They got beat by 20. Deebo Samuel is a Swiss Army knife. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Bengals Raiders. Raiders odd. I don't really know how to describe it. They obviously a lot of turmoil with John Gruden and all that mess. He gets canned. They beat the Broncos and they beat the Eagles. Okay. And now they've lost 3 straight. I don't know.
I mean, this is we talked about it last time. This is what they've done the past 3 years. They start off hot, have a stupid loss. Yeah. Which I believe this year it's the Giants.
Yeah, they lost that bad game to the Giants.
And then since then, just blown out by the Chiefs, now blown out by the Bengals. So now guess
what? You
could
also argue that losing to the Bears by double digits. That
could also be it. But they had a pretty good record. They had a good rebound after that, though.
Yeah.
And now, guess what? You're playing on Thanksgiving against the Cowboys, so it don't get easier.
Pissed off Cowboys at that.
And then you also still have to play the Chiefs and Broncos and Chargers again.
And you got to go to the Colts.
Yeah, this not setting yourself up for greatness right now, Las Vegas.
Nope. No, you are not. But yeah, Bengals, great day. Had a good time. Joe Burrow didn't really light up the stat sheet He had 148 yards and 1 touchdown, but Joe Mixon had 123 on the ground and 2 touchdowns for him. Tyler Boyd, 6 receptions, 49 yards, no touchdowns. Jamar Chase had a touchdown, but he only had 3 catches for 32 yards. T. Higgins, 2 catches, 15 yards. They didn't do a whole lot through the air, but they got it done on the ground, and that's what matters.
This game was close in the fourth quarter, 16-13 in the fourth quarter, and then 13 unanswered by, 17 unanswered by the Bengals wins this game. So
Derek Carr, 19-27, 215, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Another just really meh day for Derek Carr after starting the season hot, but that's like you said, that's kind of the Raiders mantra. So and then we move on to America's Game of the Week. Troy Aikman, Joe Buck, what did y'all have on tap for us? Well, we saw the resurgence of Kansas City as they won 19-9 over the Dallas Cowboys.
This game was kind of bad. I'm not gonna lie.
This game sucked. Patrick Mahomes, 23 of 37, 260 yards, no touchdowns through the air, had 1 interception. The return of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, good for the Chiefs, I guess, 63 yards and a touchdown for him.
How dare he point at a defender?
How dare he?
There are children watching.
There are children watching, and my son,
child is now addicted to crack because he saw Clyde Edwards-Helaire point at a defender while crossing the goal line.
My son came home and held his mom at knife point because you know why? He pointed at him. And
awful. They should be thrown in jail for that.
Terrible. Tyreek Hill, 9 catches, 77 yards. Travis Kelce, 5 catches, 74 yards. And then, outside of those, Mahomes' top 2 targets, nobody else really did anything. And then Dallas being without Amari Cooper, without CeeDee Lamb, they struggled. And Zeke got hurt, and they ran for 82 yards as a team. Dak had 216 yards and 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. I don't think they scored a touchdown at all. They only kicked field goals.
Dak was getting pressured all game. I watched most of this one.
This was not good.
Dak couldn't do anything.
I'm sorry. CeeDee Lamb did play, but he only
got hurt in the end.
Yeah, he got hurt. So, and I just want to say this. Let me say this one thing. I feel like nobody is going to come out here and talk crap about Dallas. And they're going to sit here and say, oh, well, Dak didn't have this. Dak didn't have that. This guy was out. That guy's out. And you're still going to sit here and try to tell me that the Dallas Cowboys are a serious contender. And they could be, and they could be. This is just, once again, the salty Titans fan in me coming out. Because everybody wants to talk about how we're a fake 8-2 team after we just had the best stretch of anybody in the whole season. 6 straight games we beat, 5 games where we beat opponents who went to the playoffs the previous year, and we won 6 in a row.
Yeah. And
nobody wants to give us credit. I'm talking to you, Keyshawn Johnson, you donkey. Talk about how the Titans are a fake 8-2 team, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear it. And now the Titans come out and they lose to Houston, and now everybody's validated. Shut up. I don't care. I'm sick of it. Tired of it. I've been hearing it for years. But nobody's going to say anything about Dallas.
Yeah, here's the problem.
You got all the excuses for Dallas, but you don't want to factor in that, Ryan Tannehill's without AJ, Julio, Derrick Henry, and it's piss and rain. But you know what? Yeah. Whatever.
Dallas's best win is probably the Patriots on the road. Yeah. They've had a fairly easy schedule this year. They had the Bucks. They had the Bucks on the road to start off. That's a tough one. They lost to the Chiefs on the road. That's 2 of their losses were to good teams. Patriots are a good team they beat. The back half of their schedule is you got the Cardinals and the Eagles at the very end.
Yeah.
We're tough. Washington twice. You never know what you're going to get with Washington. But Raiders, Saints, and Giants.
Yeah.
Should win at least half of over half of those.
Yeah.
In the year. So I don't know if the Cowboys are legit. They may look at with their record because they can finish 13-4 easily. But God, they keep getting banged up. Losing some of their offensive weapons, if they're going to pressure that defense, doing a lot.
Dallas is still in a good position. I mean, this loss definitely doesn't really hurt them. They're still ahead in the division by, I think, at least 2 games because the closest team's the Eagles, who are 6-5, 5-6.
5-6. They're 2.5 games up on them. So
yeah, so I mean, they still have a cushion, like Tennessee, but things could get hairy.
Yeah. I give a shout out to Micah Parsons, though. He had 2 sacks and 12 quarterback pressures.
Yeah, that was
that game.
crazy.
He's looked really good in his rookie year. So
yes, he has. And we'll move on. The Cardinals, once again, without Kyler Murray, having to start Colt McCoy. And Colt McCoy was 35 of 44 for 328 yards and 2 touchdowns, turning back the clock like it's 2011. And the Seahawks are dead.
Oh, absolutely. 3-7.
It's absolutely over. Tyler Lockett, though, 4 receptions, 115 yards. I appreciate those. But the Seahawks are dead. It's over. Cardinals 9-2, kind of regaining their footing, and Kyler Murray hadn't even been playing. Neither is Nuke Hopkins. So them boys come back here in a couple weeks. They're going to be primed and ready to make a deep playoff run. You heard it here first.
They got a tough schedule in the back half, but they can keep it up.
James Conner emerging over this part of the season has been really cool to see as well.
Mm-hmm.
He had another good day.
Look good.
Yeah, Zach Ertz with his best game in a Cardinals uniform so far. So, Cardinals still dangerous, but Seahawks have officially been shot down over the ocean. And lastly, we're going to talk about Sunday Night Football. This is a great game.
This game got stupid real quick, man. It was awesome.
This game was awesome. The Chargers, 41. The Steelers, 37. Justin Herbert, 382 yards. 3 touchdowns. Did have 1 pick in just a duel. Ben Roethlisberger with his dead arm, 273 yards and 3 touchdowns. Najee Harris didn't run the ball for crap, but it didn't matter. Pittsburgh's still right in it. Deontay Johnson, 7 receptions, 101 yards and a touchdown for Pittsburgh. And then Keenan Allen, kind of turning back the clock. He's, kind of made up for what Mike Williams, I guess, hasn't done the past couple of weeks. Keenan Allen back to getting all the targets, 13 targets, 9 receptions, 112 yards. Did not have a touchdown. But then Mike Williams did have a kind of a rebound game, 5 receptions, 97 yards, and a touchdown for him. And then Austin Eckler, I feel like people talk about him a lot, but they just don't talk about him enough. He's so good.
Yeah. He reminds me, I'm not going to say he reminds me of LaDainian Tomlinson because he's not LaDainian Tomlinson, but he reminds me of it how we didn't really I don't think we appreciated him enough.
Yeah.
At times, there were usually great years where we're like, oh, we finally talked about him, but there are times you just didn't talk about him a whole lot, and he was great. And I think Austin Eckler's kind of in that territory where he's really good, really solid, and we just don't talk about him enough.
Yeah. I need to add as well that Justin Herbert was also the leading rusher in 90 rushing yards. Just a fantastic game from everybody, but this game was stupid. And
27-10 at one point.
Yeah, this game was all but over. And Pittsburgh got a field goal, blocked the punt, turned it into a touchdown. Hey, it's 27-20. But then the Chargers lead a touchdown drive, make it a 14-point game again as the Steelers come back down and answer with a touchdown of their own. And then Justin Herbert throws that interception that was forced by Cam Hayward, who's having a fantastic year, and it bounced right off his dome. Pittsburgh got it. 2 plays, touchdown. We're tied at 34. And then the Chargers come out, 4 plays, 9 yards, go on downs. Steelers, 4 plays, 7 yards. They kick a field goal. And then the Chargers, 3 plays, 75 yards in a minute and 15 seconds with Mike Williams capitalizing on a 53-yard pass from Justin Herbert to take the lead and eventually win the game. I just want to throw this out there that Pittsburgh, on their final possession, went 4 plays for negative 22 yards and turned it over on downs.
Ew.
Yeah, that's not good.
I want to say, too, about Mike Williams. It's kind of cool to see him catch this game-winning touchdown because it was not too long ago. He broke his neck in the first game of the season for Clemson.
Yeah.
His junior year. And a lot of people thought he wouldn't be playing football ever again.
Right.
And now he's been a great player for the Chargers and just balled out and got the game-winning catch. That's really cool to see for him.
Yeah, for sure. Chargers getting a big win, a win that they desperately need. And you know what? Let's take a look at the standings. I think we should start doing this. So we'll check out the standings real quick, and we have the NFC East. Obviously, it's going to be a battle down the stretch between the Buffalo Bills and the Patriots. Patriots are currently a half game up. They're at 7-4. Bills 6-4. The surging Dolphins, winners of 3 in a row, sitting at 4-7. Can they make something happen? I doubt it, but something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
AFC North, closely contested, as has been all year, is going to be for the rest of the year. Ravens pulling a win out of their butt against the Bears. They're 7-3. Bengals right behind them, big win over the Raiders, 6-4. Pittsburgh sitting at 5-4-1, and then Cleveland in last place at 6-5. Everybody with a winning record.
Yeah,
so
everybody's in a half a game back of each other.
Yeah,
is what it seems like. It's wild.
Yeah, and then we come to the AFC South, where Tennessee still holds a 2-game lead and the tiebreaker over the Colts, but Colts looking like they might be getting hot at the right time. Tennessee obviously has a fairly easy schedule. They just have to win these ball games. And Indianapolis had with a statement win over the Bills, and Tennessee laying an egg against the worst team in the AFC. So that's not a good recipe for Tennessee. But Tennessee still tiebreaker, 2 games up, first in the AFC as a whole, and first in the South, with Houston and Jacksonville just kind of dragging the pile down there at the bottom. And the AFC West, Chiefs finding their footing. They've won 4 in a row now, and they are 7-4 on the year, followed by the Chargers. A big win for them to kind of keep pace with the Chiefs, especially if they're going to start surging again. And then Raiders, losers of 3 in a row, they are on the downswing. And the Broncos, who are on a bye this week, are both at 5-5.
Yeah.
And we turn our attention to the NFC. Dallas 7-3, still got a 2.5 game lead over the Philadelphia Eagles, who are winners of 2 in a row. Could possibly have something happen there. I don't know about Washington. I don't think they have enough to keep pace with Dallas, or the Giants either. But who knows? That division's, historically, or at least the last couple of years, has been bad, and you never really know what's going to happen. So we'll see. NFC North could get interesting, but it's still a 2.5 game lead for the Packers. They're at 8-3, as the Vikings are 5-5, but winners of 2 in a row. Vikings, like we said, they're right there every week. So I would expect this to be contested down the stretch.
What's funny is the Lions don't have the longest losing streak in this division.
Yes.
The Bears have lost 5 straight, which is
despite not winning a game, the Lions do not have the longest losing streak in this division. The Bears, yes, have lost 5 straight. They suck. The Lions, I'm sorry.
Oh God, what if they tie on Thanksgiving? I kind of want that now.
Please. I want Detroit to win so bad.
I know it would be nice. They get Creed for halftime again. I don't know if you saw today's the 20th anniversary of the halftime show. I was at Dallas though.
Yeah.
We'll move it up to Detroit this time. That's fitting for the city of Detroit. I feel like would be Creed for halftime. So
yeah. And we move to the NFC South, which is highly contested. 3 weeks ago it was not.
Yeah, everybody's on a losing streak now.
And everybody is on a losing streak. Tampa Bay leading the division at 6-3, losers of 2 straight. Now they could change that tonight because we are recording this on Monday night before the Monday Night Football game that they have against the Giants. The Saints, losers of 3 in a row after being 5-2. Panthers, losers of 1 in a row right now, but they're 5-6. And the Falcons, losers of 2 in a row with a negative 110 point differential. Falcons are 4-6 on the year, but everybody's right there. As much as I don't want it to happen because I love them, their misery, the Falcons are right there. And then the NFC West, what we all thought was probably going to be a highly contested division is not that at all. Arizona, they're definitely not the team we thought was going to be leading this. 9-2 on the year. Winners of 1 in a row. They have a point differential of plus 108. They're killing people, except Carolina. I don't know. Rams right behind them at 7-3. Now the Cardinals already got the better of them once this season.
So. The Rams lost 2 straight. So
slipping a little bit. 49ers don't really know if they're good or not. They seem like they're hitting their stride at a good time, and the Seahawks are dead over the water. So. But that's your NFL roundup for last week. But now we'll run in briefly and we'll just mention what we got going on this coming week. Now, obviously tonight, Tampa Bay is playing the Giants, so we will not know the conclusion of that game before we finish the show here. So, but next week, so obviously Thursday is Thanksgiving, big day for football. It all starts at 12:30 on Fox at Ford Field in Detroit with your Thanksgiving staple, the Detroit Lions hosting the Chicago Bears for an epic crap fest that's going to go great with your cranberry sauce.
We don't have to do this every year. We don't have to show this Detroit game. We can. I get it's tradition to show Detroit and Dallas. That's Fox gets Detroit, CBS gets Dallas, and NBC gets whoever they want.
Yeah, I would rather chug the canned cranberry sauce and follow that with 13 deviled eggs than watch this game.
Oh, ooh,
Think of the combination. Look at that combination; is just awful.
yeah.
And then once again, we get to see America's favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys, at 4:30 on CBS. Oddly enough, it's not Fox.
Yeah,
they're going to be hosting the Las Vegas Raiders.
What's weird about this is that Dallas the past few years has not played a division rival on Thanksgiving, which I feel like kind of sacrilege.
Yeah, and usually it's like what, Philly or
it's usually Philly Washington? Or Washington, and then those few years it was the Giants when the Giants had Eli Manning, were pretty good.
Yeah,
and now recently I feel like there was one time I think they played the Chargers 3 years in a row on Thanksgiving somehow, and I was like, why? Okay, this is random. They played the Panthers 1 year. I remember that. I don't remember the last time they played a division rival on Thanksgiving, which feels weird. I feel like Thanksgiving should be about like rivalry games, because it's rivalry for college football, but I feel like for NFL it should be like that too.
Which and it kind of fits with Detroit and Chicago being in the same division. It just sucks that both those teams suck.
Yeah. But at least it's a division game, so at least it's kind of there are stakes at some point.
Yeah, and then Thursday night on NBC, you have their version of Sunday Night Football, but on Thanksgiving, Buffalo is at the Saints, which is another kind of. It just seems like an odd matchup.
I feel like the Patriots would have been a good one to have on that one for Thursday night.
But Richard, talk to me about what Buffalo's got to do.
Well, I mean, Trevor Siemian hasn't looked horrible. With Jameis Winston out, if you can slow him down. Alvin Kamara has kind of been not there, in all honesty. Now, again, Spencer Brown is still out. That's the offensive tackle that you had to replace, and he's been struggling. Tremaine Edmonds is going to be out as well. Cole Beasley is questionable. He's been having a nagging injury all year. The good news is their offensive line's got banged up too. Yeah. So, this could be kind of a defensive battle. I feel like the Bills are going to win by 4.5. The over-under is only 46.5. So, it could be a low-scoring game. You got to get the run game involved. You got to get the run game involved, whether that's Josh Allen on designed runs or whether that's Zach Moss or Singletary, or heck, even if Matt Breida, you keep getting him involved. Yeah. Got to get that. Keep the ball on your side of the field, on your possession, and just can go score consistently, because I don't know if the Saints can come back. They almost had to come back against the Eagles, but at that point it was too late. So if you can do that, I think you're fine. Pressure Siemian constantly. Simeon's not, James Winston's wasn't really a running threat either, but he could move a lot better than Siemian. Yeah. And I think if you pressure him, make them one-dimensional, where they have to give to Kamara and they have to run the ball, because Mark Ingram right now is questionable too. So they really only have one running back. So make them one-dimensional on offense. And then when you have the ball, just run the ball, be able to control the clock. You should be able to get this win. Now, this is a tough place to play. Superdome's a tough place to play. It's Thanksgiving, probably going to be sold out still, despite the Saints having a great year. But, I think the Bills should hopefully come away with a win this week, if they just do everything right, and 7-4, get a nice rebound and get ready for the back half of the schedule. Yeah,
definitely a game that both teams need. So we'll be looking for a high-profile matchup on Thanksgiving night to round out your beautiful.
Don't give me indigestion on Thanksgiving, please.
The food's already going to get me. Don't let the Bills do it to you. Yeah. And then we move to Sunday, which should be a number of good matchups. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati to start the day. Obviously, division rivalry here. Both teams are good. Both teams are right there in the thick of things. Both teams need this game, so should be a good one to start out on CBS. Tampa Bay is at Indy. Indy obviously hot. Tampa Bay, we'll see what they do tonight against the Giants, but Tampa Bay needs to get back to winning ways. And especially if they lose to the Giants, they're going to be in a tough spot. And they're going to be looking hot. They're going to be dying for a win as Brady goes to Indianapolis on Sunday at 1:00 on Fox. Should be a good one. Carolina is at Miami. Miami winners of 3 straight. I mean, this is another winnable game for Miami, it seems like, but this is a game that the Panthers desperately need.
This is also an Iron Bowl matchup. Tua Tagovailoa versus Cam Newton a day after the Iron Bowl. So, some kind of interest in the state of Alabama.
Yeah. Also at 1:00 CBS, the Tennessee Titans taking their talents to New England to face the hottest team in the NFL, the New England Patriots right now. This is going to be tough, but I mean, look, not speaking about what the Titans need to do. This is just the type of game that seems like Tennessee is going to get up for, and they're going to play well. Mm-hmm. And they're going to, whether it's a loss or win, it's probably going to be closely contested because that's just what Tennessee does. They play to their competition. That's why we can come out here and we can rattle off 5 straight wins against really good teams. And then we come back home against the Texans and we're like, whatever, and we just lose. So I think Tennessee will be up for this game. I'll be interested to see who's going to play. X-rays for A.J. Brown and his ribs came back negative, so he should be, I think, okay to play. I mean, if albeit a little bit gimped, but I mean, heck, everybody is at this point in the season. Tennessee just got to they got to get it going on offense. The defense, something I didn't mention about last week, the defensive line that has been garnering much deserved praise did nothing against Houston. Absolutely nothing. The Houston's offensive line was a stonewall, no pressures, no sacks, nothing from anybody, not Autry, not Simmons, not Landry. So that obviously has to change. They're going to have to try to get after Mac Jones. But here's the thing. Look at Tennessee against mobile quarterbacks, i.e. Tyrod Taylor, Kyler Murray, or even Russell Wilson for a half when we played the Seahawks earlier in the year. Obviously, containing a mobile quarterback is harder than somebody that stands in the pocket, and Mac Jones is not as mobile as those 3 guys. So I think Tennessee, this should be a good opportunity for them to try to rebound and figure some things out. Obviously, a lot of things are going to have to go right because New England does look very good. But here's another wild stat for you. New England is undefeated on the road. All their losses have come at home. They've only won once at home.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say, though, for New England, though, they're starting to get this is fake science that's made up probably, but it's getting colder. And New England's a tough place to play in the cold. Now, everywhere's going to get colder, of course, whatever, but you still I doubt that could help New England. You know, you've seen the infamous pictures of Tom Brady in the rain, the sleet, the snow, just go out and destroy teams. Heck, I mean, that game against the Titans a few years ago, 59-0 was in the snow.
Yeah.
With New England. Now, again, Tom Brady's not back there, completely different Titans team, but, you know, maybe if something to look into. I'd probably fake signs that I'm just making up, but, you know.
And I do like to think Tennessee has an advantage being that our head coach is a Belichick descendant who played for him for years and also has never lost to him, beat him twice, 2-0 against Belichick. So
it's so weird to think that he played with Tom Brady. Now he's coaching. There's a lot of guys like that. Like Byron Leftwich is his offensive coordinator down in Tampa for Tom Brady, and he played against them. That's wild.
I know. That should be a good one. My blood pressure will be sky high. Philadelphia is at New York at 1:00. A game that both teams, I guess, need, obviously, but Philadelphia, don't lay an egg. Don't do it. Don't come out here and lay an egg against the Giants team. If you're going to catch up to Dallas, like I really hope you do, because I don't like Dallas. Sorry, Mom, not sorry. Philadelphia, don't lay an egg, please.
These next 2 games are just instant classics.
Oh boy, this
tickets are cheap, y'all. Tickets are cheap for both of these games.
Must watch TV. The Atlanta Falcons are making the short trip down to Jacksonville. Oh my God, what a terrible game this is going to be. This is going to be so bad. Atlanta at Jacksonville at 1:00 on CBS. I mean, oh my gosh, that's going to be horrible.
And then what's still going on? What's the last 1:00 game, Waffle? What's the last one? Tickets are $10 for this one, baby.
To round out your 1:00 hour, the New York Football Jets are at the winners of 1 in a row, Houston Texans.
Joe Flacco versus Tyrod Taylor. Yes, absolutely.
Wow. And here I said earlier that there were going to be some good matchups this Sunday.
Listen, this is the take. Listen, when you have six teams play on Thursday, you got to have some bull crap on Sunday.
True. You ain't never lied. All right. Well, that's does it for the 1:00 hour. 3 games at the 4:00 hour. Los Angeles Chargers are at the Denver Broncos. Broncos coming off a bye. Chargers off a good win against the Steelers on Sunday Night Football.
They can't lay an egg either.
They can't. They can't do it. They got to go out there and they got to play Denver, and they got to try to manhandle them. So to keep pace, and Denver's right there too. Denver's right there in the division as well, coming off a bye week, so they should be healthy, I guess. But that starts you off at 4:00, and then 2 games at 4:25, both on Fox. This one, Los Angeles Rams at Green Bay. That's going to be a slobber knocker. It's going to be a great game. Rams obviously need to rebound. Packers do too after losing to the Vikings. So two teams desperately looking for a win, and that should be fun. It's going to be at Lambeau. Who knows what the weather is going to be? I know it's going to be cold. And Minnesota is at San Francisco at 4:25. Minnesota. Both these teams are 5-5. Both of these teams I feel like can be good, but it can also be terrible.
Yep.
Who knows what's going to happen here? I don't know.
It's going to be a one possession game again because Minnesota.
100%. It's either going to be 13-9 or it's going to be 39-36.
It depends if San Francisco goes on a 14 play drive or whatever.
Yeah.
Ryan Nanny, who's a writer for SB Nation, his dream drive is somebody to have a 30-minute drive that runs out an entire half.
Oh, that would be so great.
I need San Francisco to have this. But it's got to end in a field goal to make it funnier.
Minnesota is going to strut out Kirk Cousins and see what he can do, and we'll keep an eye on where Deebo Samuel is going to line up because at this point he might be your punter. And Sunday Night Football, Cleveland at Baltimore, good old-fashioned hate because Baltimore technically is Cleveland. I get it because
you're right.
Baltimore. So they don't like each other. I don't like either of them. Going to be great. 8:20 on NBC, called by the great Al Michaels.
It's like that meme you see of the two kids beating each other up, and that one kid sitting on the ground with a phone and recording it. That's all of America watching this game.
Yeah. And then Monday night, kind of underwhelming. Seattle at Washington. Seattle's dead. Washington is almost dead. So we'll see how it goes. And the Cardinals, who are hurt, have a bye week, and so does Kansas City. But
I just want to say Monday Night Football is the Washington football team versus the football team from Washington.
And that's the show. The podcast is over. That's it. That's all you need.
You're welcome, everybody.
You're welcome. The podcast is never going to get it any better than that. That's it.
Man. Yeah.
Dude, learn something new every day, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why I keep you around. Thank you. All right, but that's going to do it for NFL. That was a long segment, but I feel like it was just fine. It was good. All right.
Yeah.
Moving on, Richard.
Let's move on to some college basketball. And right now, this is feast week right now. All the tournaments are starting, or you've had some tournaments going on. Got some, the Maui Invitational. It's in Las Vegas this year because of COVID restrictions in Hawaii, which kind of stinks, but still good to see the Maui Invitational, which is fun. The Clemson just wrapped up the Shriners Charleston Classic, and there's college football involved in this too. I'll explain it when we get to there because Clemson blew two big leads in a tournament. Oh, wow. Basketball's back. Blew a 15-point lead to St. Bonaventure, then blew a 12-point lead to West Virginia. Waffle, they had 6 players on the court on the last play of the game.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. That gave a technical to West Virginia. There was a 3-point game at that point. Gave a tech to West Virginia, and West Virginia got 2 more free throws, and that iced the game. So Clemson basketball's back, baby.
Feel the thunder, Brad Brownell.
He's got a lot of help because of that Sweet 16 run, and oh boy.
But you know what? You can say the exact same thing about Frank Martin in South Carolina. Got a lot of help.
He went to the Final Four
run. Final Four run. What came of it? Nothing. Not a thing. That's why I pulled for Duke.
As we're recording some interesting scores, Ohio State leads Seton Hall 70-65. Ohio State's looked rough. They lost to Xavier, almost lost to Akron. But looking to get back on track. Cincinnati is whooping Illinois right now, 51-36 in the second half.
Oh my God!
Illinois didn't have Kofi Cogburn for an earlier game this year and lost. I can't remember who they were playing. They lost somebody. Yeah. So and that team runs for Kofi Cogburn, and he's out there tonight though. So that's interesting to see. And upset alert: Bellarmine is up on UCLA 4-3. 2 minutes into the game. Oh, upset alert.
I was really intrigued, and then you just killed it with 4-3.
No, I think we know how that's probably going to end up being.
Probably.
Houston defeated Butler 70-52 earlier today as well. You got some big games this week. Gonzaga's got UCLA and Duke this week. Which should be some fun games. Last week you had Tennessee, Villanova, Purdue, and North Carolina all playing each other in the Hall of Fame Classic. Purdue looks really good.
Purdue does look good. North Carolina, let me say this about them. They lost to Purdue and they lost to Tennessee. North Carolina's offense looks really great, but their defense sucks right now. Now, they're going to figure it out. Oh, yeah. They will figure it out, but North Carolina can be, I would say, susceptible to some losses. Their offense is very good, but their defense does not look great.
I think looking at that Charleston Classic, I think St. Bonaventure kind of showed everybody they belong in the top 25 in the conversation. I believe they went out and won the whole tournament. If I'm not mistaken. I got to see a final for that. If I can find it. Yeah, they went out and they beat Marquette and beat Clemson, and they beat Marquette by 16 points to win that thing. So looked pretty good. Michigan's looked rough. They have a pair of losses early. Losing to Arizona. Arizona's a pretty good team, though, but Michigan lost also in that Big East, Big Ten challenge early in the year.
Yeah.
So got questioned that. We'll talk about Duke, too.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about them.
Duke 5-0. They play, when recording, they play in Citadel, who did beat Pitt, and Citadel also does shoot threes, so that could be an interesting game at some point.
Yeah.
But Duke, other than they had a little scare against Campbell, still won by 11. Other than that, and then they beat Kentucky by 8. Other than that, they've blown out Army, they blew out Gardner-Webb, and they blew out Lafayette. They've done what they need to do.
Yeah. I'll say this about Duke. Duke is kind of like the opposite of North Carolina. North Carolina's, like I said, offense really good, defense not looking so good. Duke's defense has been really, really, really good. But the Duke's offense has been lacking in areas. Now, just like North Carolina, Duke's going to figure it out. They got way too much talent to not be able to score the ball. But yeah, coming out beating Kentucky, big win over a good Kentucky team. Pounding Army, it's a little scary against Campbell, beating Gardner-Webb, beating Lafayette. You know, they're beating the teams they're supposed to, and they got the big win over Kentucky. Playing Citadel tonight, and then setting up Black Friday, 10:30 p.m. against Gonzaga. I'm tuned in. I'm there. I cannot wait. It's gonna be a long night. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. Looking at Duke, Wendell Moore's leading scorer at 16.6 points a game, but they spread it out. Paolo Banchero's done great, 15.8 points. Trevor Keels, I feel like, was kind of underrated. Not a whole lot of people were talking about him preseason, but 13.8 points a game, 4 rebounds, 2 steals a game. He is really good. Dope.
Keels won me over from the tip, like from a Kentucky game. He was great against Kentucky.
He's shooting 37% from 3 as well. So he's kind of become a star in his own right. So, you know, because Coach K's last year, Duke's won, of course, to send them out with a title. And I think they really could do that.
I think they have the pieces to get there. Now, obviously, like I said, the offense has got to come around more. And what was the reason? Not necessarily in 2015, but when Duke won the title in 2010, what was the main reason they won that title? They had Shire, Singler, and Nolan Smith, so talented, amazing guys. The reason that Duke won that title, it was the emergence of Brian Zubek. And Duke Mark Williams has to get it going. He has been underwhelming to begin the year. He's only averaging 7.6 points a game and only 5.8 rebounds a game. He's got to figure it out. And he's shooting 33% from the free throw line. Come on, dog.
Yeah.
Got to figure that out. And if he becomes the dominant big man, like we saw towards the end of the year last year, Duke, I think, can put it together and they can make a deep run. But we gotta wait and see. Yeah.
So it's a big game on the men's side this week. On Thanksgiving, you have Alabama and Iona. Iona's 5-0. They're coached by Rick Pitino, and Iona's always in the tournament, it seems like. That could be a tough one for Alabama on Thursday night. Of course, a lot of these games are tournament games this week, so you don't really know who's playing each other until they happen, it looks like. Like I said, Friday, 10:30, Duke and Gonzaga at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. That's going to be a heck of a game late night on Friday. Saturday, BYU and Utah play each other at night. It's on the Pac-12 network, sadly, so you won't get to see it, which is disappointing, but that should be a fun one to see. And then Northern Iowa and St. Bonaventure, 2 good mid-majors that play each other, and St. Bonaventure number 16 in the country, so maybe we got to talk about them, of course, as one of those top mid-major teams as well that can make a run. On the women's side, today when we're recording, South Carolina knocked off UConn, the Bad Boy Motors championship game, 73-57. South Carolina played one of the most perfect fourth quarters I've ever seen in my life. They outscored UConn 16-3.
Yeah, you can't ask for much better now.
In the fourth quarter. Aaliyah Boston's legit, man. 22 points, 15 boards. Just unreal. Zaire Cook, 17 points, 2 steals. This defense for South Carolina was really good. And it's only the 4th game of the year for UConn. They're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
But, man, South Carolina, they had a scare against Buffalo in the same tournament.
Yeah.
Where they didn't look great. They ended up winning 88-60. But man, they've beaten NC State already, who's a good team on the road. They handled business against Clemson, who's always improving. Beat South Dakota, who's usually a tournament team. Beat Oregon.
Yeah.
Oregon was banged up, but they beat Oregon, who's not top 10. And then they beat UConn. This is Dawn Staley knows what she's doing every year.
Yeah.
She is a really good team this year.
Dawn Staley is worth every bit of money South Carolina wants to throw at her.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it. And then Paige Buckets for UConn. She's far and beyond one of the best players. She was 8 of 19 from the floor. She did have 19. She was 1 of 3 from downtown. South Carolina did a really good job of limiting her and making her, miss a lot of shots. South Carolina looks really good. Boston is just dominant down low. And then Zia Cook and then Destiny Henderson as well. Destiny Henderson hit it wasn't a massive three, but it just kept the pounding going in the fourth quarter when she rattled in a 3-pointer there. I think to go up at least 7 or 8, and that really just kind of set it apart. And Carolina never looked back.
Yeah. Speaking of UConn, one girl that I think needs to get going, and even Gino Arama said needs to get going. Ozzie Fudd, their star freshman. Yeah. She had 18 points against USF in that win, but she had 0 points today. She didn't play a whole lot against South Carolina, but she didn't look great against Minnesota or Arkansas either.
Yeah.
So she's kind of needs to get going, get her shot. Again, she's a freshman. And again, UConn's going to be good still. Yeah. It's not, the sky is not falling for UConn because they're 3-1. Yeah. They play each other later in the year again.
Right.
On, I believe, Valentine's Day or January 27th, actually. But yeah, so South Carolina still looks good, and this is going to be a fun year, I think, for them. They have a chance to run the distance. Looking at the rest of women's basketball, right now, Michigan handling business against Oakland. Michigan has not looked great. They've had a lot of close games, but they're handling business right now, 44-28. South Florida upset Oregon, 71-62. Again, Oregon's got a lot of injuries. But USF,
South Florida's usually pretty good.
Yeah, USF.
If there's one person to rival UConn in that conference, it's usually them. It's never usually a game, but they're always usually good.
Absolutely. Thanksgiving Day, there's a great women's game at 11 a.m. So before you eat some food, NC State plays Maryland.
Yeah, in the Bahamas.
In the Bahamas. So stay in the Bahamas. Another tournament down there. That should be a fun one. Indiana also plays Stanford in that tournament as well.
Yeah.
So some fun women's basketball game action for that. On Friday, Missouri State and Virginia Tech. I feel like Missouri State's always in the tournament. So Stanford plays South Florida that day. South Carolina will play Elon on Black Friday at 3 o'clock. So get back game for them after this trip. Tennessee goes to Kansas. Actually playing in Las Vegas, 6:30. Michigan and Oregon State play each other in a ranked matchup down in Daytona. So you got some really good women's games this week.
Yeah, for sure.
And all of D1. And of course, Maryland and Stanford will also play to round out that tournament as well. NC State goes to plays Washington State. Michigan plays Mississippi State. Some really fun games. So right now, South Carolina's kind of distancing themselves from the pack, I feel like. Texas is another team that looks pretty good, too.
Yeah.
Early this year, they upset Stanford, I know. So that's really what's going on in women's hoops. And also, we got to give a shout out to Lander. They beat my team, Carson Newman.
Yeah.
First game of the year. Has struggled against Lubbock Christian. Had a tough loss there down in Texas, but held tough with Lubbock Christian, who's, if you don't know anything about Lubbock Christian, they've won, 100 and something games in a row at home, something like that?
Yeah, some ungodly amount. Now, that came to an end, I think, the other day. I think they lost maybe it was just their unbeaten streak.
Yeah, unbeaten
regardless,
streak.
But Lubbock Christian's won. I think they've only had a program for less than a decade. And I think they've won 2 or 3 national titles. Like it's ridiculous what they've been able to do out there in Lubbock. But just to talk a little bit about Lander and Lubbock Christian, I just want to throw this out there. Lander led for the majority of the game, and it was always closely contested. I think Lander was up 4 going into the fourth quarter. But I just got to throw this stat out there, and I was supposed to go. And I did really want to go. It'd have been a great trip and a very cool experience. But ultimately I just didn't want to spend the money to have to get out there. But if I would have gone, I would have died.
You probably got thrown out of the arena.
I would have got thrown out of the arena because Lubbock Christian shot 31 free throws. And that's not it. That's not the end of the stat because I haven't told you how many they made. But let me just say this. No team should shoot 31 free throws in a game.
Absolutely not.
There's no way. You cannot tell me all 24 of Lander's fouls were justified. You cannot tell me that when Lubbock Christian only had 17. You cannot tell me that. And to make matters worse, what won this game for Lubbock Christian? The fact that they made 30 of those 31.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all the credit in the world to Lubbock Christian. Obviously, they've got players who can, shoot the lights out, especially their discipline. They can shoot free throws. But no team should ever shoot 31 free throws in a game. But Landers, Zamaya Passmore, she was All-American last year. She had 27. She was 2 of 8 from downtown. She's taking more shots this year. She's looking a little bit more confident with a three-point shot. And, I mean, if she consistently develops that, I mean, good God, she's unreal.
Yeah.
Still a lot of turnovers for her to start the year, but she had 7 assists, 5 turnovers in this game. And she was 10 of 19 overall. And Michaela Conjay, Lander's other All-American, got in foul trouble, obviously, but had a double-double, 13 points, 10 rebounds. And then Miriam Mercarte, all the way from España, was 5 of 14. She had one three-pointer. She had 5 rebounds. A decent little game from her. But
yeah,
Lander starting out 3-1. They played 2 ranked matchups. They're 1-1 in them, and they play another one this week. They play Belmont Abbey.
That's pretty good game.
Coming up this Saturday, who was ranked, or is at least right now, is still ranked in the top 25 at Belmont Abbey. So that's going to be another interesting matchup for Lander this week.
Yeah, that should be a fun one. So that's our basketball update. Now we'll move on to college football. I'm going to start talking about this game. The Clemson Tigers finally looked like the Clemson Tigers.
How about them, man?
It sadly came to the detriment of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons fully killing the D quarter. That's disappointing. But Clemson Hoops had to make the sacrifice for Clemson Tigers to win in football. Because on Friday, Clemson basketball blew that lead to St. Bonaventure, and Clemson football beats Wake Forest.
Yep.
So I believe in that superstition wholeheartedly, and that's what happened. But Clemson, man, looked great from the get-go. We're up 17-3 at one point, and then, of course, Wake Forest made it 17-10 at halftime with a good drive. And then Clemson just third quarter pulls away and gets up 38-13, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
Ended up winning 48-27. DJ Uyunglele, still not a great game. 11-19, 208, 1 touchdown and a pick. But my God, he made some plays.
Yeah,
we all expected for him to make, including that connection to Bo Collins. If you haven't seen it, he made 2 connections to Bo Collins that were crazy, including a one-hand grab by him for a 58-yard touchdown. Clemson didn't have a whole lot of wide receivers in this one. Will Sweeney started.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. Will Sweeney had to start this game because Clemson is so bad. Justin Ross is done, which stinks for him because he just came back from another injury.
Right.
So that stinks for him. But, man, the rushing attack got going for Clemson. Kobe Pace, 24 carries, 191 yards, 2 touchdowns. Will Shipley, 19 carries, 112 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Clemson ran for 333 yards on Wake Forest. And that you can't have any team do that to you and expect to win a game.
Right.
Like I said, Clemson's getting it done when they need to. They're looking great. Despite being banged up, despite half the team needing to be wrapped in bubble wrap at this point in the year. And then, of course, defensively, they just got done. Forced 2 fumbles, forced a pick from Sam Hartman. They made Sam Hartman look average. 27-43, 312 yards, a touchdown, interception. Wake Forest, is going to score.
Yeah.
27 points. That's the lowest they've had all year. And I know this Wake Forest defense is not good. They've looked bad, but this is what you wanted Clemson to do against everybody because you're used to seeing it.
Right.
But to finally have a game like this consistently, again, there are still issues. DJ Uyunglele had some dumb plays. Didn't look great. But at least you look fine.
Yeah.
And you're building momentum at the end of the year to build off of next year, especially before this rivalry matchup on next Saturday.
Yeah.
Also, Will Shipley threw a touchdown pass on a little jump pass, which was wild to see. So,
yeah,
got everybody involved. And also, Clemson brought back the meeting at the Paul, which is when, hey, guess what? Clemson runs on the field after every game, not just when they beat Wake Forest.
yeah.
Although it did feel like an upset win because of how this year's gone.
Yeah.
But they finally let them back on the field, which is nice to see. Here's my problem, though. Clemson can backdoor their way into an ACC championship. That's great. I got to pull for Boston College in North Carolina.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt.
Yes,
that's going to hurt hard because that's who I have to pull for since NC State won this past week.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if Clemson may not make it to an ACC championship game, but like I said, if they could close out the season strong, they still have a chance. If they win their last 2 games, they have a 10-win season again.
Mm-hmm.
I think for all the injuries, everything that's happened,
yeah,
any team will take that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And so, and also you get to develop these freshmen. Kobe Pace and Will Shipley will come back next year. Phil Maffa, he didn't have a great game on Saturday, but he'll be back next year. All these receivers have had to play, like Bo Collins and Davis Allen will be back next year. So at least get to develop some people.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Wake Forest. It was fun. But it's dead. Well, it's not, but it is. Like, I mean, they can obviously still make the ACC title game.
Oh yeah, they can win that and be 11-2 and make a Orange Bowl.
Yeah, so. But let me tell you that's gonna be the highest scoring ACC championship game of all time if it's Wake Forest and Pitt.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, Clemson doing what they needed to do, and like we said, we all know Wake Forest's defense sucks. This is probably one of the worst defenses that Clemson has seen all year. But this is what Clemson needed, and this is what they needed to do against this defense, and they came out and they did it. So all props to them. They finally figured it out. And like I said, DJ still, not the best game, but had some great plays, did some things that, we have not seen all year. And then the running game, can't say enough about it. 191 yards from Pace and 112 from Shipley. That's all you need, especially on a day where, your wide receivers, you don't have your normal guys. Bo Collins had a good day, 4 receptions, 137 yards, touchdown. But like you said, having to start Will Sweeney, that's not ideal if you're Clemson.
Yeah.
But they got it done, and they took advantage of this Wake Forest defense, and they had their way with them, and that's exactly what they needed to do. So now coming into rivalry week, Clemson obviously riding high, finishing strong in the ACC, still can backdoor their way into the ACC. If a couple things fall their way, who knows? So,
yeah, we'll have to see what happens there. ACC is the dumbest conference of all time.
Absolutely.
The greatest conference of all time. I have another stat line I'll share when we start reading about more games. I'll show now. If Syracuse wins this week and if Florida State wins this week, the entire ACC Atlantic division will be bowl eligible, which is funny to me.
That is funny.
Because everybody is so average. You have Wake Forest at 9-2, Clemson's at 8-3, NC State's at 8-3, and everybody else is like 6-5 or 5-6.
Yeah.
So this is the most average division of all time, and they're going to go like 1-6 in bowl games. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah,
and it's going to be hilarious, and it's going to be all worth it, baby.
Right.
Go ACC, baby. We'll move on to the SEC and Waffle. Big time game in Columbia between South Carolina and Auburn. South Carolina needing just one win to get to bowl eligibility. They had a loss to Missouri the week before. There's no Bo Nix for Auburn, so I was disappointed. But you still had Tank Bigsby in there, TJ Finley, who's looked great. But Jason Brown, still the greatest South Carolina quarterback of all time, I'm convinced. And the rest of the team.
He's up, cuz. He's up. Slow your roll.
Okay, we'll not say that. But South Carolina in a position to get to a bowl game where not a lot of people thought they would be. And, we can talk about the end of this game and video review and everything that happened.
Oh, I'm gonna talk about it.
Oh, we are too. I'm going to talk about it too because Brian Harsin, I got to talk about you for some reasons. But man, South Carolina wins it 21-17. Gamecocks going bowling in year one of the Shane Beamer era. Not a lot of people thought that would happen. We even doubted it here,
including myself.
And South Carolina 6-5, and has a chance. If they can knock out Clemson next week to lock up a winning record for the first time in a while. And but what'd you see? I mean, South Carolina came from behind to win this game against Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's first and foremost, it is another example of what you have said all year. If Will Muschamp falls down 14-0, does South Carolina win this game? No,
absolutely not.
100% not. But yeah, and that's exactly what South Carolina did. They fell down 14-0 fairly quickly after a Jason Brown interception led to an Auburn touchdown to make it 14-0. And then once again, I'm crediting the South Carolina defense for stepping up and doing what they needed to do, because after the touchdown, South Carolina punted, and Auburn, obviously looking to keep their foot on the neck of the Gamecocks, comes out here. Defense holds them 6 plays, 17 yards, and they punt. And South Carolina gets the ball, takes it all the way downfield, 10 plays, 67 yards, scores a touchdown, and we're right back in the game. It's 14-7. And then Auburn goes down, turns it over on downs. How stupid of a call was this for Auburn?
Yeah.
Mike Bobo, you loser. Freaking takes Tank Bigsby off the field. Mind you, to finish the game, he had 164 rushing yards. It's 4th and 1 at your own 35. Okay, that's risky enough.
Yeah.
But you have Tank Bigsby in the backfield, who's been running very well. You take him off the field and you throw a 30-yard pass with your backup quarterback.
Yeah.
It falls incomplete.
Remember, they did that earlier in the year against Penn State.
Yeah.
And they took him off the field.
Yeah.
Stupid.
And South Carolina capitalizes on it with one of the best touchdowns I've seen all year. The
awesome.
Big man touchdown, fullback touchdown. Shout out to you, Granddaddy. Trey Jones from local boy, at least for me, from Abbeville. And if you don't know anything about Abbeville, they are a perennial powerhouse.
This is when I started watching the game, because I just got home and I was like, I love this kid. He's big tub of love, and I found out he was from Abbeville. I'm like, I love this kid so much. I love Trey Jones so much.
He was their starting offensive tackle for Abbeville. So, I mean, the boy's an offensive lineman at heart, and they've converted him to a massive fullback, and I'm all for it.
Absolutely.
Trey Jones catches the touchdown pass. It's 14-14. We got a ball game now. So coming to the halftime, Carolina comes out, punts. Auburn gets a field goal, and the South Carolina scores a touchdown. 6 plays, 67 yards, as Josh Vann is found in the end zone by Jason Brown. And Auburn comes down. They missed a field goal after a 15-play, 67-yard drive that ate up 6 minutes on the clock. And then it turned into a Big Ten football game, and it was punt, 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 punt. And then here we go. Here's where it gets controversial. South Carolina.
Actually, here's what I want to say before this, though.
Yep.
Before South Carolina punts it away.
Uh-huh.
I get that it was 4th and 8 at your own 38-yard line, Auburn. There's only 3.5 minutes left, and you're down by 4.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go for it. I think you really, because again, at the worst South Carolina I think could do was get a field goal, and then it's like, okay, we can just tie it instead of just winning it with touchdown. You had to score a touchdown anyway.
Yeah,
it's not like and maybe your defense is going to hold there. So I don't know what Brian Harson's thinking there, and I think what happens here is full karma for him punting of a ball away. So take it away, Waffle.
Yeah. All right. Set the scene. South Carolina 21, Auburn 17. Little time on the clock. South Carolina gets the ball. There's 3 minutes left in the game. They run Kevin Harris. Auburn takes the timeout. They're first. They run Kevin Harris. Auburn takes the timeout. It is now 2nd and 5. They run Kevin Harris. He gains 1 yard, setting up a 3rd and 4. Auburn takes their final timeout with 2 minutes and 25 seconds left in the game. So obviously here, South Carolina converts this 3rd and 4. Game's over anyway. Yeah. Auburn's out of timeouts. Jason Brown pass incomplete to Josh Vann. Okay, great situation if you're Auburn. Auburn, it worked. Brian Harson's plan worked, at least for now.
Yeah.
4th and 4 at South Carolina 43. Kai Kroger has had a pretty good night for the Gamecocks. He's been pretty solid all year, so I have good confidence in him that he's going to, do his thing and pin Auburn deep.
Yeah.
And he comes down and he punts it, and this is a great chance, to pin him deep. Auburn still got an uphill battle ahead of them with no timeouts, not a lot of time on the clock. They have to score a touchdown. So, but Auburn's going to get the football back. Kai Kroger punts it with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left on the clock. And the ball hits an Auburn player, and South Carolina falls on it. And that is your ball game.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to me. Look deep into my eyes, Richard. I need you to look right at me. The ball touched him simply because South Carolina deserves to have something nice happen once in our lives. Just once, to have a call go our way. I know it's close. I know it's bang, bang. Do I think it hit him? Absolutely. The Gamecock in me coming out. Yes, I think it hit him. And, if you overanalyze it, I mean, you can see all the still images that Carolina fans have put up and that people have put up on Twitter and things like that. And you look at it and I'm like, yeah, I mean, honestly, I honestly, unbiased opinion, swear to God, I really do think it hit him, but it is such a bang, bang play. This is like another one of those things, like late in a basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in the national title game. Did this not happen to Texas Tech and Auburn a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Where there's just a play where to the naked eye, you're never going to see it. But once you zoom in and you NBC it and you come in all the way and you slow it all the way down and you see that, his fingertip just crazy like that. And then, now it's somebody else's possession. Nobody else is going to see that. And
Absolutely.
that's where replay came in here. They said no. They said, it didn't touch Auburn. It's Auburn football. And then they reviewed it, and they came back, and they changed it.
Yeah, the in-house replay crew, by the way, good
Amazing
job for them to put it on the video board. Because as soon as
they wanted this.
You just heard the slow build of cheers come by, and ESPN even showed it on the video, feed of the video board shot of it hitting him, and it's like, whoever is running the in-house production, give them a raise, man. That is hilarious. Good job for them. But man, I don't know how it's irrefutable, but man, I will say it did look like it hit him. It did look like it hit him. It grazed him enough.
Look, I don't know how it's irrefutable either, because you and I have watched enough football to know what's irrefutable and what's not, and how they're going to call it and how they're going to do things. And then obviously me being the South Carolina fan, I can't tell you the last time that we've had a call this catastrophic, like a game-changing call.
Yeah, go your way.
That has gone our way. Or the last time we just haven't completely pooped our pants in a situation like this and had the same thing happen to us.
I mean, heck, last year, the first game of the year against Tennessee, fumbled a punt to lose it.
So, at the end of the day, it touched him. South Carolina won. We're bowl eligible for the first time in a couple years. We're bowl eligible in the first year with Shane Beamer. I could not be more excited. Screw Mike Bobo. Screw Auburn. Go Cox. That's all I got to say. I don't care. I do not care. It touched him. Final verdict. South Carolina won.
What did Todd Ellis say a few years ago?
There's a lot of things he said. For you to elaborate.
I was the one you'd say, "Who cares? Who cares?" And Todd.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
But yes, Todd Ellis is a
just edit that in later. Sorry, my brain.
Yeah. Okay.
Who cares? Who cares? Tommy Suggs over there, just like, well, he's gonna get the 15-yard penalty. Who cares? There you go. But. Who cares? I don't. Let me tell you what. I know Todd Ellis don't care.
Nobody in Columbia cares. I can tell you that right now.
Being serious, I mean, this is a great win. South Carolina getting the bowl eligibility is way better than I thought they were going to be. And I told you at the beginning of this, when we started doing this podcast, and I said it before the season, that, I mean, if South Carolina, optimally, I thought they were going to win 4, maybe 5 games.
Yeah.
And then if you would have told me that South Carolina would be bowl eligible and we didn't beat Missouri, I wouldn't have believed you. So great job by Beamer. Once again, I can't say enough about him. I think what he's brought to this team, the culture change, has been great. I would like to believe, I think he's set up for success with how he's recruited so far and just what he's brought to the table. I'm stupid excited about it. And I'm very happy to be bowl eligible before this game coming up this week, just because it's one less thing I have to worry about.
Yeah.
And I guess one less thing that these Carolina players have to worry about before they're going into a game that they haven't won in 8 years. So, a great win, get it out the way. And now we got one more. And I'd be lying to you if winning this game Saturday against Clemson wouldn't just put the absolute perfect cherry on top of Shane Beamer's first year. Like, I don't know if he comes out and he beats Clemson. Now, obviously, this Clemson team is not the Clemson teams of the past 3-4 years. We know that.
Yeah.
But if Shane Beamer comes out here and can rattle off this win against Clemson and break the streak, I mean, I don't know how you don't vote him as coach of the year in the SEC.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know how you don't do that.
Only other person I see would maybe be Josh Heupel, but
yeah.
Heupel's
been great as well.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I think that
I think if they win this weekend, Shane Beamer's your coach of the year for this.
I think South Carolina has exceeded so many expectations, regardless. Even if they lose to Clemson by 30, and then they go to the Belk Bowl and play freaking Louisiana Tech, and they lose by 30. I think they've exceeded a lot of expectations that I couldn't be more happy with how things look right now. So, what a game.
Like I said, like I said, Will Muschamp does not win that game.
Correct.
We got 14-0. Like, they were playing games. Vanderbilt game. Yeah. They got down early in.
ECU.
ECU got down early. You don't win that game. I think, with those losses, that would be 3 losses, and you wouldn't be eligible for any bowl.
Yeah.
With those losses. So that's again, not South Carolina fan at all, but man, Shane Beamer, it's hard to pull against Shane Beamer. Man, he is a really nice guy. It seems like he knows what he's doing. Yeah. He loves that team. He wants to be there, which is great because, you feel like a lot of teams like Steve Spurrier toward the end did not want to be there anymore. Will Muschamp, you never felt like really wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And now Shane Beamer is like, I want to be here. I want to build this back up to what we were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And, it's good to see. It's good for them. Also, it's good to hopefully build back the Palmetto Bowl and build up to a big time rivalry again.
Right.
Which is very nice, and build some big time in-state rivalry stuff as well. We'll go through the week briefly in college football. Northern Illinois knocks off Buffalo in overtime, 33-27. Waffle, Northern Illinois went 0-6 last year, and now they're 8-3 and are going to play for the MAC championship.
Wow.
Which is wild.
Heck of a turnaround.
Yeah, turnaround. I saw them, like I said, in the first game of the year against Georgia Tech. Got to see them in person, and they looked pretty good there. Northern Illinois, I think every single game, though, they've won has been by 1 possession or less, or like 7 points or less.
Yeah.
They've had a bunch of close games. They got blown out by Michigan 63-10. They won 22-21 over Georgia Tech, lost 50-43 to Wyoming. They blew out Maine, beat Eastern Michigan by 7, beat Toledo by 2, beat Bowling Green by 8, beat Central Michigan by 1, lost to Kent State by 5, beat Ball State by 1, and beat Buffalo by 6.
Yeah.
So they have been so close to not having a great year, but they've got it done when they need to. Rocky Lombardi, of course, remember him from Michigan State, transferred in, has looked great this year. And it's just been fun to watch them. So shout out to the Huskies who, if they can beat Western Michigan this week and then win the MAC championship, they're going to be 10-3 after going 0-6. So what a job Thomas Hammock, who's their coach, who played this Northern Illinois, has done changing it around.
He's done a heck of a job. Let me say one thing about Western Michigan. I just really want to point this out. Western Michigan is 6-5 on the year, and they lost to Michigan big time in the first week of the season.
Yeah,
beat Illinois State, and then don't forget that they beat Pitt at Pitt by 3, 44-41.
Yeah,
in Pittsburgh, and then proceeded to beat San Jose State, beat Buffalo. And so now they're 4-1, 1-1 against, Power 5 opponents. And then they lay an egg against Ball State and then absolutely pound Kent State, who had some early momentum this year. And then the wheels fell off and they lost at Toledo by double digits, Central Michigan by double digits, beat a lowly Akron, and then just dropped Eastern Michigan. So what a season from the Broncos.
Yeah. Weird times up in Kalamazoo.
Yeah,
for sure. It's some action, baby. It's
weird time for a weird city.
Yeah. Thursday night football was Louisville and Duke.
Ew.
Malik Cunningham looked great. Malik
Duke,
Cunningham,
so
527 yards by himself as Louisville wins 62-22. Waff, I think Cutcliffe's time is over.
The magic is definitely worn off. Love him to death for what he did do for this Duke program. He's been the only consistent they've had since what? Steve Spurrier was there?
Gotta be since Spurrier.
And, you know, he did some great things. That game against Texas A&M when Johnny Manziel was there and Duke had Anthony Boone and all them boys. You know,
the ACC title game.
he proved the impossible that Duke can compete in the ACC.
Yeah.
And they can make it to the top of the ACC, or at least have a chance to be the top dog.
If they wouldn't have to run to one of the best Florida State teams of all time.
Agreed. Yeah.
They would have had a chance.
Duke was up 7-0 in that game. People forget that. Not that it means anything, but yeah, just can't say enough about Cutcliffe. He's been amazing for Duke. And I don't really know if they're going to capitalize on it, because obviously the wheels have fallen off and they're just going to ride Cutcliffe out because they're probably, you know, loyal to him, which I think is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been right to say 3 years ago when this decline started again to be like, all right, David, you're out.
Yeah.
It would have been the right thing. So, but yeah, Duke sucks.
Yeah. And I hate to see it because they were good for a while and they looked pretty good. But yeah, just kind of a sad end to a great era of Duke football. Interesting to see if they move on after this week or what happens with them, or maybe they just go out one more year and see.
A sad end to arguably, I guess, the best era. Now, they did win an ACC title in '89 with Spurrier, but
yeah. But the best of the modern era for sure.
Correct. Yeah.
Hey, you got them those improvements to Wallace Way Stadium that they needed. So I mean,
true.
If nothing else, they helped improve facilities, help improve recruiting. So
did they fix the bathroom doors though? That's the real question.
We'll need to see.
Quickly, for those of you who don't know, me and Richard and my father went to a Duke Miami football game in what, 2007?
I think so.
God, we were young. Duke sucked. I mean, it was bad. Miami was coming off of, you know. Miami fans still have in their mind that they're good, but this was really when Miami was coming off the decline.
Yeah, this was Larry Coker's one of his last years.
The U, baby, and they sucked. And they came to Durham, and they beat Duke pretty good, I think. I think we left at halftime. But the moral of the story is Duke's bathrooms are like military-style bathrooms. They don't have stall doors. So you just go in there and you just drop your drawers and poop in front of God and everybody. Like, it was ridiculous.
Listen, they didn't care. They had built that stadium, and they're like, all right, we were good in the 80s, and now it's basketball season, baby.
Yeah, screw it.
Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully they did at Wallace Way. And need to get back up there for again. That's one of those things that looks really cool, I feel like.
Definitely be easy to get
into. San Diego State beats UNLV 28-20. The punt god, Matt Ariza.
Yeah.
Still doing it. He had, let's see, I think he had 2 punts inside the 20. Oh, he had 5 of his 6 punts, were inside the 20. He had 2 punts of 59 yards. Put this man on the Heisman list.
That boy's sick.
Yeah. San Diego State, I would not call them a good team. They only beat 2-9 UNLV 28-20. They're 10-1. I feel like they're 10-1 because of their punter, and that's not a lie.
Yeah.
Because he pins everybody so deep. Man, like, this kid's going to go to the NFL, which is kind of funny to see. And everybody staying up late at night on college football Twitter just to watch this kid hit bombs is just hilarious and amazing. It's a great time. So if you want to stay up late, watch Matt Ariza just hit some bombs for San Diego State.
Yeah.
And then ignore San Diego State's offense because they're terrible.
Yeah.
Moving on to Saturday, Georgia beats Charleston 56-7. I think we all knew what was going to happen in that one. This one was surprising.
Just real quick, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Friday night, Air Force Nevada.
Oh, yeah. We got to
this game, because I got home, I went and watched Clinton play Daniel in high school football, and I got home and it was late, but this game was on.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, howdy, this game was sick, man.
Yeah.
Carson Strong, obviously, he's got a lot of attention for being an NFL prospect. He had a great day, 351 yards, 4 touchdowns. But freaking Air Force, man, you can't sleep on these military academies, except Navy, because for whatever reason they're not good anymore. Sorry, Richard, but Air Force. Hazik Daniels was 1 of 5 for 23 yards passing. You know, they don't pass. They don't need that when they got DeAndre Hughes running for 221 yards all over this Wolfpack defense for 2 touchdowns, and Brad Roberts 117 yards for him. This game went into 3 overtimes, and it was
awesome.
just amazing. It was so good. It was so worth staying up and then having to go to work at 7 o'clock in the morning next morning. It was so worth it.
Yeah, this game was wild. And Air Force was up 24-10 going into the fourth quarter. Nevada came all the way back, tied it up, goes to OT. And Hazik Daniels runs the perfect option play.
Yeah.
To win the game on 2-point conversion, 41-39. Just a heck of a game in the Mountain West.
Yes, sir.
On Friday night. This was a little surprising score here. Alabama and Arkansas. Alabama wins 42-35. Bryce Young, goodness.
Have a day, son.
He threw for all of the yards. 559 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, just 9 incompletions. Insane. That's the most passing yards any Alabama quarterback has ever had. And think of all the great quarterbacks they've had the past few years.
Yeah.
My word. But, man.
He's your Heisman.
Yeah. Oh, he's your Heisman, sure. But, man, if you're Alabama, you got to start wondering. There's some flaws there.
Oh, for sure. Defense has been an issue all year.
Yeah. And then KJ Jefferson had a heck of a game. 22 of 30, 326 yards and 3 touchdowns. They, of course, ran that fake field goal that got him back into the game, made it interesting late.
Yeah.
Alabama never pulled away in this game. Did they have all the yards? Yes. Did Jameson Williams and John Mechie go off? Absolutely. Yeah. Brian Robinson had a great game. They never pulled away from Arkansas. And I feel like if you're an Arkansas fan, you got to feel great because Arkansas a few years ago was horrible.
Right.
Already in a first full year of Sam Pittman. Yeah. You're back in a bowl game. You would have been bowl eligible last year, but bowl game got canceled. Now you're back in a bowl game. You're 7-4. You play Missouri this weekend. Should win that one, be 8-4.
Yeah.
And in a bowl game, that's a solid start. And you were 7 points away from beating Alabama on the road.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing about this. That is the kind of offensive performance that Alabama has to have to beat Georgia in Atlanta. Now, Georgia's offense, is it as good as Arkansas's? I don't know. Georgia's offense has been up and down. They've obviously been carried by their defense. And Georgia's defense is obviously better than what Arkansas's defense is.
Yeah.
But for Alabama to score points, they have to have an offensive performance like this. I mean, they don't – I don't think Bryce Young has to throw 559 yards against Georgia to beat them. But, I mean, he's going to have to sling that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to have to be ready and you have to just sling the ball around to knock off Georgia. That's going to be a wild game in a couple of weeks and big time championship implications for sure. Utah and Oregon. Pac-12 can't stay out of their own way once again as Utah ruins the dreams of the Ducks, gets revenge for that 2018 game, I believe, or 2019. Whenever Oregon did the same thing to them, Utah wins 38-7. This was a butt whooping.
Yes, it was.
From start to finish.
Very bad, Oregon. Very bad.
Yeah.
They're done. See ya.
Oh, absolutely. Because Oregon lost to Stanford.
Yep.
And other than that win over Ohio State, again, if you would have a rematch today of Oregon and Ohio State wins this game by about the same score Utah won.
100%.
Yeah. Utah, angry Utah is a scary Utah. I think you remember a while back when Utah went to the Sugar Bowl and beat Alabama so bad.
Like
28-0. Yeah. Angry Utah is a scary Utah.
Yeah.
And this was an angry Utah team because they haven't had a great year. They're 8-3. They had 2 early losses, lost that game to San Diego State in overtime, lost that game to BYU early. And, man, their dreams are kind of done, but they can still ruin somebody. And they did. And
now these teams are set for a rematch here in the Pac-12 title game. So,
yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So, let's see what can happen in a couple of weeks with that if that's the matchup. There's like a 6-way tiebreaker scenario for the Pac-12 that can happen. And I need that to happen. The Pac-12 North, because Washington State, for all that Washington State has had happened to them this year and done this year, they're still in it.
Yeah.
I think they have to beat Washington next week and then have like 5 other things happen or something to get in. But still, I kind of want it to happen. But, yeah. But still, Oregon, you were right there once again. And you go into Utah and get blasted by the Utes. And so that dream's over.
Speaking of blasting.
Yeah. Oh God. Ohio State beats Michigan State 56-7. This game was 49-0. at halftime. C.J. Stroud, 32 of 35, 432 yards and 6 touchdowns. I think he completed 20 straight passes is what somebody said.
Looks a lot like that Big Ten title game from 2014 with Cardinal Jones, doesn't it?
Absolutely. This is the Ohio State I think we all thought we'd see the entire year. Yeah. And, dog, since that loss to Oregon, Ohio State's gotten it rolling.
Yep.
And they are.
You've been saying it every week. Mm-hmm. You got to start talking about Ohio State. You got to start talking about them and look at them.
Yep. We finally are. And C.J. Stroud, had his Heisman performance, I think, this week. Now, granted, Michigan State Kenneth Walker was hurt. That doesn't excuse you. He's not playing defense for you.
Correct.
It was like Ohio State was running past skeleton.
Yeah.
Because they were just getting as much yards as they could throwing the ball. They didn't run a whole lot. They didn't need to.
Yeah, they didn't have to. And
good Lord, this was blowout city at the end of the first quarter. And Ohio State just putting it all in Michigan State.
As if the Deke order and the Spartan regime wasn't already dead, they both got overkilled this Saturday.
Yeah. Ohio State had 36 first downs to the 12 for Michigan State. That's all you need to know about this game.
It's not going to win you a football game, buddy.
Absolutely not. So, that might open up a spot in the top 4 for somebody. And guess who won? Cincinnati.
Emphatic win.
Yep. I think it was Stephen Godfrey said, the past few weeks, everybody's been looking at Cincinnati's box score saying, oh, they haven't beaten anybody good enough. They beat somebody. They put the hurt on SMU. Yeah. It was a good team, 48-14.
Yeah. They're coming into these final 2 games, which are arguably their 2 toughest games minus the Notre Dame game.
Mm-hmm.
And they passed test number 1 with a 34-point thrashing of a SMU team that was just recently ranked.
Yep. They have to go to ECU on Black Friday. Short trip. ECU's a tough place to play, and ECU's starting to get rolling. They're 7-4. That's not an easy game either. And then they're probably going to play Houston, I believe, in the American Championship game.
Yep.
And Houston's ranked. They won this week again. And Houston's 8-0, 10-1. If they win, they'd be they have a non-conference game, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Houston's they got UConn. So Houston's gonna be 11-1 going into that title game. So Cincinnati, they've got to put the hammer down with Oregon losing and Michigan State losing, and then Ohio State and Michigan are going to sort each other out. This week. Cincinnati's in a good spot.
They are in a good spot.
You got to take care of business.
You got to keep it rolling, and you can't eke out wins.
Mm-hmm. You gotta win big.
You can't eke them out. You got a 2 touchdown or more.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of a team that's looked good, Michigan rolls over Maryland 59-18. Cade McNamara finally had a great passing game. I feel like we haven't talked about his passing enough, but looked great, 259 yards passing. Setting up a big game between Ohio State and Michigan. But again, Jim Harbaugh, I gotta see you beat Ohio State.
Yeah, I can't.
None of this matters unless you beat Ohio State, especially this year.
I am excited for that game, but I can't bring myself to think Michigan's going to win. I can't do it.
I can't either. I honestly cannot. They just they had a big game against Michigan State and lost that one. In big games, Jim Harbaugh teams have not looked good.
I don't really know who I want to win that game because whoever wins that game is going to probably be in. Well, Ohio State already is, but whoever wins that game is going to have the driver's seat as far as getting into the college football playoff.
Yep.
And I honestly, I don't want to see Michigan in the college football playoff. I don't like Ohio State either, but I don't want to see I don't want to see Harbaugh have any success.
Exactly. A team we may have to talk about, and they're kind of forcing us to talk about, Notre Dame, put the smackdown on Georgia Tech, 55-0.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech. We knew it was bad when Jeff Collins came in. They have to revamp the entire offense.
Yeah.
But holy cow, Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, if you're wondering, well, why don't they just, kind of like, as Jeff Collins on the hot seat, his contract is 7 years. I don't know how he convinced them he would need 7 years to get this right, because you're kind of stuck with him.
Yeah. Unless
he gets it right.
Unless you have another buyout like Fuente or Muschamp or whoever.
Exactly. This is a Georgia Tech team that started off, they had a close loss to Northern Illinois. Okay, whatever. Beat Kennesaw State. Close loss to Clemson. They beat North Carolina, who was ranked at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go off, get smacked by Pitt, beat Duke on a last-second play. Since then, they were close against Virginia. They've had close losses. Virginia Tech, and Miami were pretty close, but still, you lost those games and then lose to Boston College, who's not great.
Yeah.
And then get smacked by Notre Dame. And I think I go play Georgia this week.
Yeah.
That game is going to be ugly.
Yeah.
That game is going to be rough.
Fun.
Because even as Paul Johnson games,
yeah,
you gave Georgia Tech a chance because they ran the triple option.
Yeah,
no matter how bad they were. Now Georgia would blow it up sometimes. Like, okay, well, this game's over.
Yeah,
it's all. I don't see it.
No, Georgia Tech's had their fair share of wins when they shouldn't have won over the past like 5 or 6 years. Not this year. No, absolutely not.
That's going to be disgusting down in Atlanta this weekend.
Oklahoma State playing a weird brand of Big 12 football, but it works.
They are just slogging it out, and they're winning. They won 23-0 to Texas Tech. They're 10-1.
Yeah, they're winning with defense, which is not the Big 12 way.
Like, they dropped 55 on Kansas. Okay, 63 on TCU. The third highest after that is 32 on Texas.
Yeah.
So
they have a very good defense, and obviously it's a long shot for them to make the playoff. But if they run the table, I mean, don't they play? Is Bedlam not this week?
Yeah, Bedlam is this week. So
I mean, they can rattle off that win if they can get to the Big 12 title game, win that. Obviously, they got to have a couple things fall their way. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about Bedlam. The only thing that's certain about Bedlam is Oklahoma wins.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember the last time Oklahoma State won this game.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I don't even know when it was.
Yeah, I think it's been 7 straight. I can't remember, but yeah, something like that.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, Baylor beats Kansas State 20-10. Baylor quietly having a good season. They're probably not going to get talked about going to the playoff or anything. They're 9-2, probably not going to make the Big 12 championship game. But they knock off Kansas State. Kansas State a solid 7-4. These are just two teams that are good. They're just good teams.
Yeah.
And they've done their jobs this year. Ole Miss beats Vandy 31-17. Not a great look for Ole Miss, but they get a win. Matt Corral, this is probably his last home game.
Yeah.
He said he's going to declare for the draft, which, he's kind of let's see what happens quarterback, but he's gotten a lot better this year. So I'm excited for him going forward, but good win for Ole Miss. I'm also interested to see what Lane Kiffin does, because Lane Kiffin has said if the Miami job opens, he's very interested.
Yeah.
Which would be intriguing to see what happens with that one.
Yeah.
God, him and Miami, that's a menace.
Yeah.
That man's a menace.
That's awful.
Him in South Beach, that's a menace. The U will be back for all the wrong reasons, but
correct. I don't think that's good for anybody. But I think if there's somebody that can turn it around, it might be him.
Exactly.
Everybody's going to hate him for it, but it would be something to see.
Hide your wives if Lane Kiffin comes to town. Just saying.
Right.
Good Lord.
Okay. So Oklahoma State beat Oklahoma left for the last time in 2014. Kind of almost like Carolina Clemson. It's almost been that long. But the side note, let me briefly explain Oklahoma State's season in 2014. They played number 1 Florida State with Jameis Winston, and they lost by 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Beat Missouri State, beat UTSA, beat Texas State, beat Iowa State, beat Kansas. Okay, you're 5-1. You lost to the number 1 team in the country by 6. You're looking good. 42-9 loss to TCU. 24-point loss to West Virginia. Got beat by 34 at Kansas State. Lost to Texas by 3 touchdowns. Lost to Baylor by 3 touchdowns. And then you go at your arch rival at 5-6, looking to get bowl eligible, and they beat Oklahoma in overtime. What a season, man!
That's wild.
What a season. That would be the equivalent to Carolina in 2007 starting 6-1 and then losing all those games, but then they somehow just beat Clemson at the end of the year.
Yeah,
that'd be the greatest season in South Carolina football history. Screw the 11-win season.
That's insane. That's hilarious. Speaking of the other half of Bedlam, Oklahoma beats Iowa State 28-21. The Brock Purdy, I think, got hurt late in this game, so that left Oklahoma winning. Oklahoma pisses me off. Yeah, both of these teams kind of sleepwalking this year. Iowa State, this is disappointing. They're 6-5.
Yeah,
Oklahoma's 10-1, but and I don't think they're good.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say about them.
Yeah, weird team.
Yeah.
Wisconsin and Nebraska. Nebraska once again loses a close game.
So the Vikings.
They're the best 3-8 team in the country. What's funny? Their point differential is +7.
That's stupid.
In Big Ten games.
That's so stupid.
I really hope if they lose to Iowa by 6 this weekend, they will finish with a +1 point differential at 3-9 record. That's so heartbreaking, man, for the Huskers, but it's kind of funny because the Huskers are kind of like the Miami of their fans talk so much crap, but they haven't been relevant in 20 years.
Correct.
And it's
oddly enough, both of those schools were relevant at the same time.
Exactly. So it's kind of funny. And yeah, I hate it for Martinez, that quarterback, who's really good there, because that dude gives everything he has in those games and just can't get it done.
Yeah.
Pitt beats Virginia at 48-38. This game was wild.
Told you. No, I would never bet against Virginia. They covered spread.
Yep. And then this is for the ACC Coastal Championship. So Pitt locked into Charlotte. And Kenny Pickett, I think, may have had his Heisman game as well.
Yeah.
We got to talk about him. Jordan Addison, 202 yards receiving as well. So just been a heck of a season for them. And they're going to have a strong finish here to the end of the year. NC State beats Syracuse 41-17. Dennis Leary, probably the best ACC quarterback no one's talking about. He had 303 yards passing. Now I have to pull for North Carolina to beat NC State to get Clemson to the ACC title again. That's great. Exciting. NC State, though, they're the most cursed team in all college football. They're 8-3. They always get 4 losses. So
that's true.
They always lose 4 games.
This is true. North Carolina, who knows what they're going to put on the field.
Exactly. Sean Tucker, we got to give a shout out to him from Syracuse. He's the all-time leading rusher for Syracuse. He has 1,400, or not all-time. He has the most rushing yards in a single season in Syracuse history. He's a freshman. 1,467 yards rushing this season. So they got a running back at Syracuse. They don't have a whole lot else.
Right.
They got a really good running game there. UTSA, still undefeated. Knocks off UAB 34-31. Meep. Crazy play to end this game. Frank Harris first to the end zone. The ball gets tipped and it's caught in the end zone for UTSA to win. I hate UTSA. They could finish undefeated and have no shot at making a championship game.
Right. Or
even making a big-time New Year's Six bowl game because of how low they're ranked. But, man, this is a fun team to watch. It's also fun to just see a school like this, who didn't have football 10 years ago, come out really nowhere and just have a great season this year. So, shout out to the Roadrunners in that one. Purdue beat Northwestern 32-14. This game was at Wrigley Field. Northwestern got sacked 4 times in a row. I just want to mention that. Also, apparently, did you see the onside kick Purdue had that wasn't supposed to be an onside kick?
Yes, yeah.
Because the turf was so bad at Wrigley Field. Oh,
stop playing football games at baseball stadium unless you're Georgia State. Stop it.
Exactly.
It sucks. The Pinstripe Bowl, Duke and Indiana, everything is so close. And like that one year where the same 2 teams, wasn't it?
Oh, it was Northwestern Illinois.
And Illinois. Oh, yeah, and they can only go one way?
Yeah.
How stupid is that? Why? Stop playing games in baseball stadiums. Stop. Quit it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a dumb Big Ten game. Another dumb Big Ten game. Penn State beat Rutgers 28-0. I'm pretty sure there were like 6 points in a row to start this game.
Oh, yes, for sure.
And
I'm the idiot who picked Rutgers plus 17, thinking they'd score.
West Virginia beats Texas 31-23. Texas is not going bowling.
That's funny. Love that.
This is their worst season since I believe the 1930s. By the way, horns down for life, baby.
Oh, Sarkeesian, man, with this his stripper's monkey or whatever the story was. How stupid!
I forgot about that.
How dumb!
What a dumb year in Texas, man. And they lost to Kansas last week. We didn't talk about that.
I know, Kansas. God, love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is random. Dang, I meant to send this to you the other day on my Facebook from like 3 or 4 years ago. I tagged you in a post that said Kansas has hired Les Miles, and you and I were both fired up about it. And I was just thinking about, God, that did not work at all, did it?
All. No, it did not. Jeez. Continuing down, just not a whole lot of games left to really talk about this week. It was kind of a meh week. Just some of those ones. Miami did beat Virginia Tech 38-26. Virginia Tech got out Justin Fuente.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, Missouri beats Florida in overtime.
Oh, yeah.
24-23. And Dan Mullen is gone.
See you, buddy.
Yeah. Dan Mullen was a pretty good coach until one of the players decided to throw a shoe. And he just lost complete control, man, of that locker room, I think. And now Florida's got to win this last game of the year to get to a bowl game.
What a game that's going to be.
Yeah, and Florida State has to as well to get to the bowl game.
Look, I don't like Eli Drinkwitz at all, but he went for two, and he did it. He did the thing. He pulled his nuts out, and he went for two. I love it. I'm all about it.
What's funny is Florida had a 100% win probability at the overtime, and then the loss, which is funny.
Yes.
Also, Eli Drinkwitz, I don't know if you saw, being a big old nerd, putting on the Star Wars get up.
Yes, I saw that.
When that happens to you, you have to get fired.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, so Dan Mullen era over. He was a perfectly average coach, and he's getting paid $12 million not to coach your football team. Again, I will gladly do this for not $12 million.
His record pre-shoe throw is so good.
Yeah, he was.
And then the shoe throw happened, and they just fell off the side of the earth.
Absolutely,
it's ridiculous.
Also, other score of interest, our UConn update. UCF beats UConn 49-17. The civil conflict's back, baby.
Shut up.
UCF built a new trophy. It's not the same trophy.
No,
they built
so stupid.
Just so they could beat UConn 49-17.
How is this a rivalry game? Like that? South Carolina and Texas A&M makes more sense than this. And that makes no sense at all.
Yeah, this was a creation by some coach at UConn, if you don't know. UConn gets smacked. Well, in UConn that year, UCF went like 0-13 or 0-12. UConn won that game. And then they left the trophy on the sideline. And nobody knows what the original trophy is. So it kind of stopped. And now that UConn is no longer in the American, UCF's like, oh, let's play the civil conflict trophy back. And it's like, nobody asked for this.
Yeah. I really hope somewhere down the line, you and I, Richard, let's say in 60 years, we're both 85, and somewhere somebody they're going to come across Sports Center, and it's just going to be like original civil conflict trophy found at the bottom of the ocean or something like that. That would be just the icing on the cake, and then I can die peacefully.
Absolutely, that's hilarious, man.
I will not rest in peace until I find this trophy.
Oh man. So yeah, that's it. And now we move on. It is rivalry week, baby. Of course, always Saturday after Thanksgiving. Big time week for college football. Of course, the one game we can talk about, Clemson and South Carolina, 7:30 p.m. on the SEC network. Right now, Clemson is picked to win by 11.5. The over-under is 43 points. I think it's going to be a lot closer because, like we said, this is not the same Clemson team they've had the past few years.
Yeah.
This is not the same South Carolina team that's been there the past few years. But Clemson banged up, of course. South Carolina's got a strong defense for sure. We'll just have to see which is going to bend first. The Clemson defense or the South Carolina defense. I'll go ahead and start what Clemson needs to do to win this game. Get pressure on Jason Brown. Try to make South Carolina get rid of that passing game a bit. Now, South Carolina can run it. They have a great trio in that backfield. But if you can kind of slow down and make South Carolina one-dimensional, you got a chance. Or if you can slow down the rushing game and make, South Carolina have to just throw it. Make Jason Brown, Jason Brown only threw 15 passes against Auburn.
Yeah.
So if you can kind of slow down the rushing attack, get some stops, basically do what you were basically did for the most part against Wake Forest for the rest of the year. You have a chance offense, just be able to find those seams. Jalen Foster, our favorite player, has been a ball hawk all year. And they're going to put him on whatever receiver you trot out there. Probably Bo Collins is your best receiver that's going to trot out there this weekend. He's probably going to be on him. So you got to be able to get the ball to Bo Collins. Got to be able to get the ball around, sling it around. You got Davis Allen involved more, which is good to get the tight end involved. Do that, get the rush game going as well. Because this is a good South Carolina defense. They have only allowed 171 yards rushing a game. Clemson's only allowed 104 yards rushing a game. So whichever team I think gets the running game going has the best chance to win. It's going to be a packed house. It's going to be crazy because South Carolina, this is South Carolina team with hope. First time in a long time. And, this South Carolina legitimately has a chance to win this game, I think, for the first time in a while. And, that's tough. That's always a tough stadium to play in because they show up even on years where South Carolina looks horrible. They show up in Williams-Brice. And so Clemson's has got to be ready for that. This is their toughest road game for sure this year.
South Carolina has hope going into this game. It's the first time I've had any hope going into this game in 8-9 years. So I'm excited to get back to it. We didn't get it last year. Now, obviously, it would have been a bloodbath, but we didn't get it last year. I'm excited to get back at it. And South Carolina obviously has to establish a run game, but it's so spotty. Like we finally saw it good against Florida, and it was okay against Auburn, but it's going to have to show up. But here's still the uphill battle. This Clemson defense is still good, and they still have tons of playmakers on that side of the ball. So this is going to be tough sledding for South Carolina's offense. And obviously, if Clemson's offense can keep up and build off what they did last week, it might get a little ugly. But going into it with hope, I think it's going to be cool. And like you said, like we've talked about before, a Muschamp-led team comes out and gets down early to Clemson 14-0. It's going to be a rout.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening this year. I mean, Clemson could definitely come out and get up 14-0, but I don't see Carolina laying down and dying. Like we've seen in years past, like losing 56-7. So South Carolina's run defense, not the best. They give up 171 yards a game. Clemson had a great week rushing last week. So obviously if Clemson gets that going, they should have a pretty good day. But South Carolina's offense is going to have to show up. We're going to have to try to establish the run. And the defense is going to have to be on point and make Clemson look like they did earlier in the year. So I want to say a couple things on here. Because one thing that I have missed, even though it's been obviously extremely one-sided for the past 8 years, is the banter between Carolina and Clemson fans.
Yeah.
And it's nice to get back at each other, and like obviously South Carolina to still just dig at Clemson fans, even though obviously this rivalry is so dominant one-sided, especially for the last 8 years. But my favorite new trend is the South Carolina fans acting like they're overreactive Clemson fans for when they come to visit Williams-Brice. I think that's so funny. And I just want to highlight a couple that I saw today, because somebody tweeted out just like, it's that time of the year again where we share our worst Williams-Brice experiences. And this girl put up me first. A Carolina fan murdered my father, throwing him off the upper deck. He took my pride, framed me for my father's death, and forced me into exile. I had to fight him to the death. And now reply with yours. And here's two of my favorites that I've seen. This guy, Brent Hughes, said, I was 10 walking back from Williams-Brice. My parents and I wandered down a dark alley. We were met by a Carolina fan. He mugged us and shot both my father and my mother. But I have turned that tragedy into anger. And now at night I go out dressed as a bat and I fight Clemson fans. That's amazing. And the other one time I came to a game at Williams-Brice and some guy shut the security system down so all the dinosaurs escaped. Where'd all the dinosaurs come from? But the dinosaurs escaped like Jurassic Park. Several of my friends got eaten by velociraptors. It was honestly really traumatic. Those are the two best ones I've seen so far. But that's my favorite trend.
Oh my gosh, I've missed this so much.
Great. Rivalry, baby. Yes, sir.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I want to say one thing. Dabo Swinney's recording his radio show, and a couple of weeks ago, this woman, Becky from Gaffney, from our
Oh my
hometown,
God.
called in and said they need to stop running the screens on the first play of the game. And she called in again today, and Dabo told her that we've been running the bubble screen on the first play of the game to honor you. And she said, well, don't run it if you want to honor me. So, yeah, it's a shout out to Gaffney, the hometown.
On the hometown, baby. Best town in the world. Wouldn't change it for nothing.
Great things happening, man, especially on a rivalry week. That's the best part, man. And I've missed the trash talk for sure. Building up this week, it's all fun, and hate each other for 3 hours.
Yeah,
just don't let it spill over. Just remember that on your rivalry weeks this week for sure.
Yep.
So speaking of rivalry week, we'll look at some of these games. Thanksgiving Day, you got 3:30 matchup between Fresno State and San Jose State. That could be interesting. Jake Hainer and Nick Starkel going at it. That could be a fun one early on in the afternoon. If you don't want to watch that Lions game, we would not. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Night game. Ole Miss and Mississippi State, the Egg Bowl. Remember a couple of years ago, this game on Thanksgiving, Elijah Moore.
What a game.
Craziest game of all time. This game's always wild. I feel like there's a fight every year at this game.
Yep. These two teams literally hate each other.
Yeah, they hate each other. It's always, and then of course, Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach just make it even funnier.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great game. Friday, Black Friday, you got some games. San Diego State and Boise are playing each other at 12 o'clock Eastern.
So stupid.
So that's at 9 a.m.
They're playing in California.
Yeah.
At 9 in the morning. What is this, Little League? I'm confused.
But that means we get early morning punt god.
We
get early morning punt god.
What better way to wake up than watching a 70-yard punt?
Hey, that's what I want to see, man. First thing I wake up. 1:30 p.m. Iowa takes on Nebraska, and they always play on Black Friday. And Nebraska is actually picked to win this game, which is hilarious, which means they're going to lose it in some heartbreaking fashion.
Yep. Like
always, this game's going to be like 16-12. It's just a stupid game that doesn't.
You know it's going to be terrible. The over/under is only 41.
Yeah, it's going to be ugly. It might snow too. I feel like it always snows at this game too, no matter where it is.
Yeah,
which is always really weird. Cincinnati is at ECU at 3:30. That's a tough one for Cincy. I think they need to not overlook, ECU. ECU's won back-to-back games. They're bowl eligible first time forever.
Yeah,
this is a good ECU team. So watch out for the Pirates if you're the Bearcats. Missouri takes on Arkansas. Arkansas should handle business in this one.
Should
handle that one against the Tigers. South Florida plays UCF. Not as big as the game a few years ago, 2016, I believe. Adam Amin was on the call. That was the craziest game I think I've ever seen.
Iconic call.
Yeah, Quentin Flowers went up against Mackenzie Mitchell. What a game. Just what a game. Colorado takes on Utah at 4 o'clock. Utah should handle business there.
Yep.
Here we go. North Carolina, NC State.
Yep.
7 o'clock. Mac Brown, I'm pulling for you. For once in my life, do the right thing. And they're probably not going to because they hate me and they ended the Deke order.
Right.
So, and then you have the Apple Cup, probably known as the Crapple Cup this year. Washington, because Washington.
Is it not every year like that? I feel like this game.
I feel like every
even
year,
when both teams are good, it ends up sucking.
Yeah. I just remember that one year it snowed like crazy, and that game was still a blowout, and I was disappointed.
Yes, and it was a blowout in Washington's favor, and Washington State was stupid good.
Yeah,
that was Gardner Minshew. Like they were stupid good.
Yeah,
Washington
they had to win to make the
murdered
title game. They got murdered. Yep.
Yeah, you can't have nice things. Have nice things.
And so on Saturday, we move over. Start off with good old-fashioned hate. Georgia and
good old-fashioned murder.
Yeah, that's going to be a bloodbath in that one in Atlanta. Ohio State and Michigan, big time game. Playoff implications. Winner goes to the Big Ten championship game.
That's going to be fun.
That's going to be an exciting game. Wake Forest is at Boston College. Wake Forest wins. They win the Atlantic. So this is a big time game for the Deeks. They want to keep their ACC championship hopes alive. They lose and NC State wins. NC State is in. And, of course, they both lose. Clemson is in.
All right.
So we'll know by about 3 o'clock if Clemson's in the ACC title game.
Yep. And then if they're in the ACC title game, they can just take the night off and just rest easy.
Now, hold on.
Right.
I know this game everybody wants to watch. Houston and UConn. The season's almost over, UConn. The season's almost over. Just got to get through this 1 week.
It bothers me that Houston is only a 32-point favorite and Georgia is a 35-point favorite against Georgia. It bothers me. It bothers me very badly.
What does that say about Georgia Tech? Oh, God.
That's what it says. Speaking of that, Florida State.
Yeah, winner gets to a bowl game.
Hooray.
Yeah. Another game where a winner gets to the bowl game. Maryland and Rutgers.
Oh, God.
$7 tickets, baby. $7 tickets to go to Piscataway. How about you spend your Thanksgiving weekend there?
Hey, baby, that's the birthplace of college football. You put some respect on Piscataway.
Yeah, that game will happen. That's all I can say about that one. UTSA is at North Texas at 2 o'clock. North Texas has gotten on a roll late, so that could be a game UTSA will need to watch out for. Continuing on, Georgia Southern, App State. These two teams hate each other.
Absolutely.
These two teams have hated each other since they were in the SoCon. And Georgia Southern, I feel like, finds a way to ruin App State's season every year.
Yeah.
App State, I think, needs a win to lock up the Sun Belt title game appearance. And Georgia Southern was going to look for a way to ruin that. For sure.
Yeah, it is going to be a crisp 35 degrees at kickoff.
Ooh, I love it.
Georgia Southern is not used to that, but they play them every year. So
yeah. Alabama and Auburn in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah,
I see which game you're saying. U2. We'll go back to that real quick.
Yeah.
Alabama and Auburn in the Iron Bowl.
Two of them. There's two of them that are U. Sorry. Go ahead. Iron Bowl. Sorry.
Okay. Alabama and Auburn in the Iron Bowl at 3:30 on CBS. Auburn is shaped up to somehow upset Alabama this year because they're horrible.
Yep.
And ruin Alabama's season. I don't think it's going to happen, but the past says that Auburn wins this game in a stupid way to ruin Alabama's season. The first game we're saying U2, I know for sure. UMass and New Mexico State.
Mm-hmm.
That's a rivalry weekend showdown, baby. Tickets are more expensive for that than the Rutgers game. There are people going to drop $17 to go to Las Cruces, New Mexico to see them play UMass.
Two teams who are a combined 2-20.
Yeah, UMass lost was it Rhode Island and Maine? They lost back-to-back weeks too, I think. Something like that.
I believe so. Yeah, just something stupid. Beat UConn though.
Yeah. Well, what was the other game you were saying U2? I think I know it, but
Florida International and Southern Miss.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about Southern Miss.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to quickly look with me, last week they played Louisiana Tech. Can you tell me who the leading passer was for the 2-9 Southern Miss Golden Eagles?
That would be running back Frank Gore Jr., I believe.
They lined him up, Deebo Samuel, at freaking quarterback and just let him throw, and he threw 2 touchdowns, and they won.
They won big.
Maybe that's what they've been missing.
Yeah, Southern Miss, I think, has lined up 10 different players behind center.
Yeah, they really just don't care at this point.
Yeah, they're 2-9. And play FIU. FIU's fired Butch Davis. Butch Davis came out and complained that there's no money going to the football team, so they fired him.
Of course they're not. It's FIU.
Yeah.
What'd you expect?
Yeah. So they fired him. So this is just two teams who do not care playing each other this week.
I always have to mention this whenever I see his name. Max Bortenschlager, quarterback for FIU, former Maryland Terrapin, leading them to 1-10 season. You love to see it.
Hey, let's go. 3:30 on ESPN, the Civil War, Oregon State and Oregon. What a name for a rivalry game.
Yeah, and this is always a stupid game, I feel like.
Oregon State always finds a way to stay in this one, I feel like, for way too long.
Pretty sure there was one of those years when Marcus Mariota was at Oregon that Oregon State just, beat Oregon for no reason at all.
Yeah, just because.
It's weird. Like, it's so weird to me seeing other rivalries that have constant parity when there shouldn't be.
Like, what? Was a 5-game winning streak, now a 7-game winning streak.
Yeah, so. And Clemson and Carolina. I never think Carolina has any shot to win this game, at least for the past 8 years. Yeah. But then every now and then Oregon State will be like, we're going to beat Oregon, or God, what was the other one? Oh, Iowa State and Iowa. I mean, like something stupid.
Yep. Michigan State and Penn State play each other. That's about for Paul Bunyan's axe. Or is it just for Paul Bunyan? One was for the axe. I think that's Minnesota, Wisconsin. I think this one's just for Paul Bunyan. It's stupid. They have so many trophies in the Big Ten. It's dumb. So dumb.
I wonder if somebody can win the set. Can they win Paul Bunyan and the axe and they have them together?
I know. They should put like a round robin. The winner gets that.
Yeah. It's going to be 34 degrees at kickoff in East Lansing as well.
Ooh.
Chilly boy.
You got some other Big Ten rivalries: Northwestern, Illinois, Indiana, Purdue, Vandy, and Tennessee. Those are games that are happening. Virginia Tech, 345. Virginia won their first game of the rivalry in like 20 years, a couple of years ago, and now looking to win again.
Yeah, start a streak, Virginia. Don't blow it.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm never betting against Virginia. 7.5, take it.
Absolutely. Wisconsin and Minnesota play each other at 4 o'clock. Wisconsin snuck back up to 15, so they finished up the season strong after starting off rough, but
they play for some trophy too. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think they're the one that plays for the Axe. That might be it. I can't exactly remember who. Arizona State. Ew.
Yuck.
Good thing this is on the Pac-12 network, so no one can watch it. Let's just hide this away and forget it happened. LSU, Texas A&M. This one could be ew as well, but it could be fun because it's Ed Orgeron's last game.
Yeah.
As LSU coach. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens there. Big time rivalry, classic rivalry. West Virginia and Kansas. What?
I knew that was coming. I knew it.
I feel like that's always weird because West Virginia has no rivals except for like Texas now for some reason.
Yeah.
In the Big 12. So they kind of get stuck with whoever. And they're like, y'all gotta play Kansas. So somebody's gotta play Kansas this week.
Yeah, that really does suck for West Virginia because they don't play Rutgers or Pitt or whoever in the Big East.
At least they're getting Cincinnati soon in a couple of years, so that makes some sense.
True.
Like regionally, but it's like right now it's kind of like somebody's gotta play Kansas. West Virginia, go out there.
Yeah.
Bedlam is at 7:30, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. I don't know how this game's gonna go.
I don't either. I think it's going to be wildly entertaining.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State opened up as a 4-point favorite. And I mean, good grief, that Oklahoma State defense has been good. Can they slow down Oklahoma, who has looked great, but also has looked like trash? So I don't really know. A lot of implications for this game, though.
Yeah. Kentucky and Louisville play each other. Those two teams hate each other.
It's always a stupid game.
And it's always going to have something dumb happen. Pittsburgh
plays. But sorry, here's what's going to happen with Kentucky and Louisville. Malik Cunningham is basically just Lamar Jackson, just not as good, correct?
Yeah.
Correct. So, and Louisville probably, you would think, maybe should win this game. No, probably not. I don't know. I'm just thinking back to when Louisville had Lamar Jackson and he was the talk of the town, but they still lost to Kentucky 2 or 3 years in a row.
Yep. They never beat Clemson either during that time. People forget that too. Like,
yeah.
That's just wild to see that that's such a great talent wasted because Bob Petrino is Bob Petrino. Pitt and Syracuse play each other. Cuse needs to win this to get to a bowl game. This is an old Big East rivalry game. Should be a fun one in the Dome. Notre Dame goes to Stanford, and Stanford, boy, beat Oregon and put it in Park.
Yeah, I think we found out if they were good or not.
We did. If Stanford wins this game,
I would love it.
That's going to be.
Yes. Amazing.
It's going to be great. Late night, BYU goes to USC to end the season. That's a very random game at the end of the year.
Who cares? I feel like Southern Cal is so irrelevant now.
Oh, did you see last week against UCLA? They got beat by UCLA by 62-35. Dorian Thompson-Robinson signed the hat after he scored a touchdown and got flagged. That was awesome, though. And UCLA plays Cal. Who cares?
Cal sucks.
UCLA is going to quietly sneak up and go 8-4 and then be 9-4.
Yeah.
And they might fire Chip Kelly.
Yeah. They're going to go 9-4, possibly fire Chip Kelly, and then 3 years down the road, Richard, you and I are going to be talking about stupid college football stuff like we always do. And we're going to be like, oh my God, I forgot you said they went 9-4 in 2021.
Yeah. I mean, they had a close loss to Fresno, of course, at the beginning of the year, a close loss to Oregon. So, but not bad. That's not good. And Dorian Thompson-Robinson goes like 4 of 6 for 400 yards. So,
yeah.
But that's college football for the week of Thanksgiving. Hope you have a great rivalry week, great way to close out the regular season because we have championship week the next week, Army, Navy, and then bowl games. Also, FCS playoffs start this week. That's always fun. Kennesaw State, school I used to work at, their final year of the Big South. They won the Big South title again. And we'll open up the playoffs against Davidson. That's about 2 triple option teams, by the way.
Yeah.
And so that game's going to end in about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Roughly. So that's what you got there. There's a lot of games going on there. Should be a lot of fun. The FCS playoffs are a lot of fun. And should have some fun over the next few weeks. All those games are on ESPN Plus.
Just print out a bracket, fill it out. You don't have to know anything about it. Pick a team, ride with them. It'll be great to watch.
You also have Grambling and Southern this week, by the way, in rivalry week. 2 great HBCUs. They play at 5 on NBC Sports Network. Halftime shows are always great in those games too.
Yeah,
of course. But those 2 teams hate each other as well. So big time rivalry game there. So that's going to do it for the show. We'll get some top plays we saw this week. Best play I saw this week comes from I filmed the high school game Elizabethton and Greenville. Greenville, Tennessee was undefeated. Their closest game was 35-9. They had beaten a team earlier in the year 88-0, Waffle.
Oh, my God.
Their offense was great, and they got shut down by Elizabethton. And Elizabethton, this is the first straight year they played each other in the playoffs. Elizabethton had won the first 2. This is the third time they've met. Greenville beat them in the regular season 42-12. So you're thinking, okay, they're going to beat them. Elizabethton shuts down this Greenville offense. And this one-handed catch by the tight end for Elizabethton seals the game. They win 13-7. Low-scoring affair.
Yeah.
Great game. It was cold, but it was packed. Not an empty seat. And parking was atrocious, which you love for high school playoff games. A full crowd, especially after last year. And Elizabethton, the Cyclones get the win, moving on to the state semifinals this week here in Tennessee. Just a heck of a game, heck of an atmosphere.
Yeah. My top play is coming out of, I have 2, and one pertains to you and I. But my first one, I want to shout out Trey Jones again from South Carolina, the fullback, big man touchdown. This was for my grandfather, Trey Jones, out of the I formation, man, the lineup, Jason Brown. They slip him out of the backfield to hit him right there. Trey Jones, a little freshman out of Abbeville, South Carolina, with his first career touchdown. And that tied the game against Auburn and, got it tied right before half. Carolina went on to win the game. So that was a very important touchdown. But shout out Trey Jones, fullback touchdown. You don't see a lot of those anymore. Yeah. And my second play comes from our hometown. Gaffney High School played against Northwestern this past weekend in the 3rd round of the SCHSL 5A playoffs. And Gaffney got down 10-0 at halftime, scored a field goal in the 3rd quarter. Came back after a Northwestern muffed punt, got set up with great field position. Gaffney punches it in to tie the game at 10. We go to overtime. Coin flip favors Gaffney. Northwestern goes on offense first. Gaffney holds them to a field goal. Gaffney runs 2 plays, both Tyler Smith, their star running back. He runs for 9 yards, and then this play, the play I'm talking about, is the game winner, is a 1-yard touchdown for Gaffney as they knock off Northwestern, a very good team, and advance to the upper state championship game against an old foe, Spartanburg High School. I know probably a lot of you listening don't necessarily know a whole lot maybe about South Carolina High School football, but Spartanburg Gaffney, this is a old-fashioned 90s matchup, and Spartanburg and Gaffney are side-by-side counties.
Yep.
So they are rivals, but I think it's hard. Like you and I, Richard, coming through Gaffney when we don't think of Spartanburg as a rival as much as we do,
because we swept them. Right? We went 4-0, right?
Nice. We never lost to Spartanburg when I was there. I think we lost to Burns
twice. I know for sure.
Yeah, senior year. We beat them twice junior year. We lost
sophomore year.
Yeah, at least. I think we probably lost freshman year too.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. But anyway, and Dorman too. I think we had a really good record against Dorman as well. I think we lost to them our freshman year, but that was it. But yeah, so Gaffney going on to play Spartanburg this week. I'm very excited for that game. Cannot wait. Gaffney with a chance to go back to the state championship game and a chance to win their 18th which, yes, I'm from Gaffney. And yes, every chance I get, I'm going to say that Gaffney has the most state titles in the state of South Carolina with 17. So shout out Gaffney. Shout out Trey Jones from Abbeville. Go Cox, go Indians.
Yep, absolutely. So that's big time week. Of course, semifinals in South Carolina this week. Upper state and lower state championships, semifinals in Tennessee this week. State championships next week. We might do a little preview action on those down in South Carolina next week.
It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
It's going to be so much fun. High school football season wrapping up, and those games are always exciting. And of course, when you win a state championship, I can tell you, we can tell you from experience, one of the best feelings.
Yeah, it's great.
Such a great feeling. So good luck to all those playing in state championship games or playing in playoff games this week for sure. So that's going to do it for the show. We probably went a little bit longer, but hey.
Oh, yeah, we definitely did.
We went so long. But we had to talk a lot about a bunch. We had to get off our chest about our NFL teams, had to talk about South Carolina and Clemson. Big old packed show for a big packed week of Thanksgiving food. Go out there and feast, my dudes. Eat as much as you want. The pounds don't count on Thanksgiving, Waffle.
Facts. All the dressing.
Eat all that you want. Drown yourself in gravy, baby. Just do whatever you want and just eat to your heart's content. Watch some football, even if it's the Lions and the Bears. Go out and watch it and just enjoy yourself this week.
It's better than being at work.
Exactly. Exactly. Enjoy your week this week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving week, and we will see you at an unusual day next Thursday for the next episode of Breakfast Time. We will talk to you then soon. So see you guys, and happy Thanksgiving. You've been listening to Breakfast Time with Waffle and Richard. Logos designed by Jen Perry. You can follow Richard on Twitter at Ricardo_knows or on Instagram at RNM1996. Catch up with Waffle at WaffDog on Twitter. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on this Bearded Broadcaster production.